Welcome into the Cam and Strick podcast, episode number 177, presented by Hair Club.
What up, homeboy?
Man,
I'm doing better.
Daylight savings. I don't know what time it is. Like, I'm all tired. I'm not usually tired, man.
I'm gassed a little bit today.
Well, you need to find your second wind.
Good. We had a good interview last week, and I want to apologize. I just got back from New York. I was I was in rough shape a little bit, rightfully so, because I have to booze heavy on the plane.
Is that right? You have to medicate yourself to get on the plane?
Andy, I really do. It's really bad. And if my wife's not next to me,
what do you think is going to happen? Like, what's your fear?
Well, at the beginning part, I thought I was going to have a seizure.
You look out the window?
Yeah, I don't. I have to sit in the aisle.
Can you do? Let me just because listen, I'm a therapist. Let me just get down to the bottom of this.
You really
can you do roller coasters?
Yeah, because you're supposed to be crazy on a roller coaster. Where I'm not in control on a plane. I don't know who the
You're not in control on the roller coaster.
No, Andy,
you got zero control of that.
Andy, your body's supposed to go through crazy stuff on a roller coaster. So I'm going, oh, God, my stomach's going up. Yeah, you're supposed to because you're on a fucking roller coaster. But you're on a plane. It's actually, I'll be honest with you, when it's steady and there's no turbulence, that's where that's where I'm fucked up.
Oh, you'd rather have turbulence.
When there's a little bit of turbulence, at least everybody else is going a little bit crazy. But if they're steady and everybody's happy, I just feel like I'm falling.
Did you have this issue like your whole career?
No, I've had bad plane issues. But this was a different dynamic, meaning in my head, So
how was it overall though? Like, was it fine then? It wasn't as bad as you thought it would be, or you really struggled on the plane?
On the way home, I struggled big.
Really?
Yeah, I medicated hardcore. And
why don't you take an Ambien?
I can't do Ambien on a plane and then function and do a fucking. Are you out of your mind? No.
Well, I'm saying if you sleep through it,
No, Ambien messes you up, dude. That's a nighttime thing. And a Xanax, I can't do Xanax, man, because I'll really be.
Well, I don't know if alcohol is really helping the.
It does. It does help.
The calmness.
Well, unfortunately, it does help.
Well, I'm not so sure. I think it makes it even
Andy,
worse.
I'm not sure. So sure, you know what the hell you're talking about. Actually, you don't. So,
well, I'm just saying, if you didn't, maybe it would be. Maybe it heightens your nervous system.
Either I got to take a couple gummies or.
Oh no, that's even worse.
That
may make it even worse.
Why do you tell me how I feel? Like, how do you know how I feel?
How to handle this situation?
You just don't know.
Do you think that you're going to fall through?
Yeah, man.
You do.
It's not good.
Okay.
And then I was getting pissy with the flight attendant a little bit.
Oh, God. And the people at the hotel.
I didn't embarrass myself at all. No. Trust me.
You were upset about that,
Kate graded me, and I did a damn good job.
Okay. What was your grade?
It was a B+. Oh,
really?
It's a good
for the whole weekend.
For the whole weekend, I was
That's
a B+.
That's not bad.
Not bad.
That's pretty good for you.
Not
actually.
bad. That's really good.
Yeah, because she's given you low grades before in other situations.
I was getting pissy on the way home, big time,
with the flight attendant.
I mean, she kept poking me.
What do you mean?
Because I'm trying to. I have my hat down. I got my mask in my nose. I can't.
Well, no,
breathe.
you got to put it over your nose.
No, I know, but I have to. So but she lift my hat up and then poke me, and I'd be like, "Oh, what the fuck?" And Kate's like, "Don't." I'm like, "I'm good. I'm good." Everybody's there, so I was okay. So I just want to apologize for last week.
Yeah. Well, you were. Yeah, that's okay. Well, we'll give it a pass, like a slight pass.
Well, I don't want people to think I'm, psychopath. But I was pretty wasted.
And we had to do it because, we
had to do it, man.
All the people out there, man, they rely on it.
I'm a trooper.
And we want to provide that, and we have our own obligations.
You think
I'm
going to say no to you and be like, no, I hung out I was partying too hard this weekend.
I was like, it was just a weekend. It was just a weekend. Could you imagine if you went out of town for like a week? How you handle it? I mean, just if you can't handle the weekend. Like Cam goes out of town for the first time in like several years, and all of a sudden it's like,
there's a lot of stuff I was doing.
Yeah, I know. Well,
and then wait till I come back from going to Cabo.
I know.
It's all good. Everything's good.
Like, you got to learn how to control
Teach me things, Andy. Will you teach me how to be?
You go out of town, you just come. It doesn't mean
Did I miss anything?
No, but here's the deal.
Then I got up the next day and did everything too.
When you go out of town, when you're in Cabo, it should be a time to chill and relax and take in the beauty and just kick your feet up. That's why they call it vacation.
No, that's exactly what I do.
Well, you shouldn't come back. Oh my God, I'm just dude. Just
the flying fucks me up, man. There's nothing I can do about it. Look, I could be dead sober the whole weekend, but that flight messes me up. It ages me.
Well, I had a fear of flying for a little while. Did I ever tell you that story?
Good for you.
It was really bad, actually, because I had a roller coaster incident in Las Vegas on Halloween of all times. Late night, and really kind of had a panic, and then started to get a little, panicky. on some flights, and I've just recently started to overcome that.
Good
you know,
for you, Andy.
So I'm starting to feel a little bit better. So.
Andy, I thought I was gonna have a goddamn seizure, man.
Really?
Like no, legitimate seizure.
But you knew that prior to even going on the trip.
Your head plays tricks on you.
Yeah. So, mentally, I don't know, man. I think there's ways to cope with that. You just got to do some research and talk to someone.
Yeah. I crushed booze, and it helped me a little bit.
I don't know if that's going to do it.
But then I was like, I was all over the place last week, and so I might be on that, dudes.
It's all good, baby. All good. We're a week out from the NHL trade deadline, and it's like people are just losing their minds. And when's the next trade? When's the first trade? We have had a trade. Toffoli got traded and whatever. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I mean, there's a lot of, people out there that want to improve their team. Things are changing by the day. Some teams are saying to themselves, okay, you know what? We're not making the playoffs. Or if we do, we're not getting out of the first round. Or if we get out of the first round, we're certainly not getting out of the second round. I mean, everyone has different things that they have to evaluate and that they have to deal with. And they got players who have expiring contracts that they know they're not going to bring back. So, it'll get interesting, and it's certainly going to pick up.
And like Colorado, where Lindros gets hurt, he's going to be out till playoffs.
Well, you know what?
Is he going to be out till playoffs? Because they might pick up that Drew then, right?
Well, here's what they're saying. They may get Paul Stastny, too.
Oh, fuck.
You never know. I mean, Paul Stastny is a guy. See, everyone focuses on the same guys.
Yeah.
I mean, all these guys that are talking about the trade deadline, they all focus on the same guys. It's like Ben Girard, Mark Giordano, Claude Giroux, Chikrin. It's like all the same guys. Yeah. So, but there's a lot of guys who might get traded that, like a Paul Stastny, for example, where a smart, intelligent GM is like, okay, who can we bring on board that's going to win faceoffs for us, that's intelligent, that can play the power play, and that can really give us championship-level depth.
What's he making?
I think 3.5.
Oh, Paulie's making 3.5?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good pickup
for
somebody, man.
He's so smart. I'm watching him play.
So smart. Love him to death.
With Wheeler and Scheifele and those guys. You don't get the puck all the time. They just kind of keep it themselves, but he's good. A guy like Zach Sanford, who I know has deficiencies in his game, but GMs look at it like, okay, well, here's a guy who's won a cup, who can play heavy. Sometimes you got to poke him a little bit, but he's got some size. He can spin off of defenders. And again, it's all about depth. Who can get you through a long playoff run? You can't just rely on 6 or 9 forwards. Sometimes you need 12, 13, 14 forwards, Cam. You know that.
Absolutely. And Zachy had a big goal in that Game 7 against Boston. He just fought Jonathan Days the other day, fist pumped him.
So people try to chirp me, be like, nobody wants him. I'm like, no, they do
want him, 100%. Hey, they want Stanley Cup winners that could stick handle a phone booth. Now, Zach could hide here and there. Zach Sanford could hide.
He goes to sleep a little bit.
He'll sleep a little bit, but when you're on a team that doesn't sleep much and you're forced to play every shift, and some teams are like that, he's going to be a great fit, man. He'll score a goal. Some shifts, he had when he played the Blues the other day, he was really good.
Hang down to the puck
the whole goddamn time. He's like, I'm out here every other shift.
Then
I'm pretty good.
Pumps Jonathan Taves, like you said.
He throws heat on him. He's like, fuck.
After a big hit, by the way.
I got beat up by Bertuzzo, and it was kind of a laughing stock. Then we went to Stanley Cup, and he's like, I'm not going to have that happen anymore. And he fights Jonathan Taves, and he's throwing uppercuts.
I told that story during the interview. People hear it again. I just thought it was interesting because, after the game, I had interviewed Brady Tkachuk and went back down to the room. I wanted to go say hi to DJ Smith because we really hadn't met in person, whatever.
Him a lot.
Had him on.
Yeah.
He was so cool, man. And then Davis Payne is the assistant coach there. And we talked.
Did you say hey to him?
Oh my God! I was part of the coaching staff. I was like, "What's that?" They were great. They were all in a good mood because they had won the game here in St. Louis. And then Sanford walks up. We talked for a little bit, and I just thought it was interesting because so much was made out of the fight with him and Robert Bortuzzo. And you want to know who the one Blues player who came out? I'm sure other players came too, to greet Zach Sanford and give him a big bro hug.
Who?
Robert Bortuzzo.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Man. I like that a lot.
So everyone
I didn't like it when Bert did that.
I wasn't a big fan of it either.
Remember, Andy, how pissed I got about that?
I know, but a lot of former players were like, this kind of just happens in practice.
I know it happens, but the point is at the time is Robert Bortuzzo at the time has never been that mad in his life.
I do it in the game.
He's never beat a guy up that bad in his life. He's never been that pissy at somebody in a fight. And then he does it to his own teammate. And I was so fucking pissed at him. And I remember bashing him on multiple radio stations, I swear to God, the next day. And I couldn't help myself. And then it all kind of turned around and it all worked out. But I'm like, that's the angriest I've ever seen you play. And I fucking know what he did the next game? Went toe-to-toe at center ice with Tom Wilson and actually exchanged punches with him. So I'm like, okay, you're good.
Yeah.
And that's all you needed for me. But I bashed him pretty good on that, man. And I think rightfully so because I like little Zachy Sanford. You beat up a guy that's never thrown a punch before. I don't like that. It's like me beating you up, Andy. which I would.
Which you were very dirty. Probably would have gotten at least 2 or 3 games. Like Austin Matthews, by the way, who's going to get 2 games.
He's going to get a couple games.
But by the time this comes out, he probably will have already gotten the 2 games. I think he's got Monday. The hearing today.
Hey,
so,
I saw that whole...
What do you think of the cross-check?
Oh, it's got...
Hey, is it gutless or just dirty, or is it what
dirty,
is it?
You fucking little Darlene, who's like a little boy, like, hi, I'm little Ralphus Darlene, whatever his name is. Hi, and I'm gonna push you, and like if I'm like grab the guy and pump him, then you cross check him in his head, dude. You're lucky he didn't buckle his ass, Austin, dude. And I like you, man. You got a couple earrings that I'm like, you look kind of corny. You wear Mickey Mouse.
Was it Cousins who destroyed Matthews in open ice too? Was that later in the game or before that? Because I wasn't able to watch the game because I was covering the Blues game. Okay,
that was afterwards, and they all kind of jumped in, and Bunting's like, "I'm going to go after you," and then like, they throw you, Bunting. They throw your stupid ass down. Oh, I like him. Don't get me wrong. I shouldn't say that.
Right place,
but
right
he's like getting up, like, "Give me more." Like you didn't do anything the first time. Get the fuck off the ice. Your team's already embarrassed. You lose to Buffalo again.
Oh my god! And the Heritage Classic.
You're so fucking soft. And then like poor little Darlene's like, "Get away from my goalie," and then Matt's like, "No one's allowed to touch me," and you cross-check him right in the fucking temple.
Ugh.
Man, I would have.
You would have what?
I don't know. I would have lost my mind if I was a teammate on Buffalo.
Oh my god!
I would have lost my motherfucking mind. You hit our young Swedish defenseman who doesn't even know what a punch is, and you cross-check him in his fucking temple after your game's over. You pussy.
That's why I
hate that.
Listen,
and I like Austin, dude. He's cool.
Every team needs a guy on the roster who's capable of just like, on an instant, just going out there and taking care of business. You know what I mean?
Cross-check me, my goddamn dude. Darlene's lucky,
and he's the future from a first overall pick.
You're gonna ding him a couple games.
I wonder what Rob Ray was thinking when he's watching that.
Oh, fuck.
Brad May and some of these guys, these former Buffalo Sabres.
Dude. They must have lost their minds. Good for Buffalo. You know what, Buffalo? Jack Eichel and all that shit.
Our boy Donnie Granato, listen.
Donnie Granato, man. Like, good for you
guys,
man.
Thompson.
That's a change. That's a change you guys need for that organization. And people are like, non-hockey, Buffalo's got to be the worst team in the league to play for. No, it's not. No, it's not.
Not now, man.
No. You're in the United States. You're in a cult following.
It's been bad. It's been bad.
I know. But like if they turn around just a little bit, you're packing that goddamn place in. You got a city behind you, man. They're crazy fans. You guys suck for so goddamn long. Any little positive trend is going to get people in that goddamn the rink. I would play for Buffalo, man. That changed everything. Sometimes you need a fuck you in the face from a Jack Eichel or something like that, and all of a sudden you beat them, and you got that infamous little picture of Jack Eichel back checking when they scored the empty net goal. Like, that's a game changer for an organization, and they deserve it.
And who scored the empty net goal, right? The guy that came in the other way. And Krebs also scored earlier in the game. Let me just tell the Buffalo people out there. The turnaround began with that victory.
It did,
for your organization.
It did.
The turnaround began with that victory. When you just look at who scored, and for an empty net goal, it was a hell of a goal, bad angle, and just ripped it.
Ripped it, fuck you.
Right inside the post. And just a celebration there in Buffalo. And then you have, Jack Eichel coming out. Listen, man.
No, it hasn't. No, it wasn't.
It was loud before you got there, Jack.
It was loud, boy. Hey, go watch some of those Rick Jenneret. A highlight to when Brad May's piss pumping somebody. No, that place.
We just had Danny Briere, Chris Drury, all those guys, man.
Hey,
Dominic Hasek. They had some great superstars, and they have an unbelievable, passionate fan base who knows the game.
They know the game. They're Canadian folk.
Yep.
They're Look, they know the goddamn game, and they know when you're not trying hard. And Don Cherry said this a couple years ago too, when they were really shitty. Like, your team's so shitty. And yet you have the least amount of hits in the league, and you have the least amount of fighting majors in the league, and you're getting shit stomped every game.
Yep.
Don Cherry said that a couple of years ago. So that has to change. Like, does Ottawa have the least amount of fighting majors? Hell no. They have the most. One of the most. Do they have the least amount of hitting body checks? No, I think they have like the most.
I think Nashville has the most fighting majors.
Oh, God. How about that other cat,
They've got like something like 40 fighting majors, something like that.
Tanner Jeannot. I keep getting those names mixed up with Rick Jeannot and Tanner Jeannot.
Yeah.
They hit, man. So my point is, if your team sucks and you're not hitting and you're not fighting, well, your team really, really sucks. But on the other side of that is Jack Eichel, like you say, that's the loudest it's ever been. No, it hasn't. You scored some big-ass goals.
Well, he said in 7 years, whatever.
Yeah, no. I'm saying with him. With him involved in the organization, it's been louder than that too. So you're kind of like, Listen, here's my thing, dude. You could bash that organization all you want. You could bash the fucking hierarchy of it. You could bash this, that, and the other. You bash the fucking fans that got you $80 fucking million. And I like Jack, dude. He's cool. He said some good things about me on Spittin' Chicklets and stuff like that. I like him. If you're nice to me, I like you. I'm a simple man. You know how it goes. Don't ever bash the motherfucking fans. Don't you ever do that. The fans are on your side, man. Even if they fucking booed you and booed you and booed you. If you would have came out afterwards and said, I love all y'all. I deserved it. I get that. They fucked my neck thing up, dude. Da-da-da-da. I get you. The organization pissed me off. But fans, I love you guys, man.
That's all you got to say.
That's all you got to say.
Listen, I had a situation. I'm happy where I'm at right now.
The fans.
But I will forever respect the fans. And you know, for my time being here as a second overall pick, he was the captain of the team.
Thank you.
And a franchise player. Obviously, they just couldn't.
Don't you ever bash
get it done. And now he's all of a sudden, you know, you think the grass is always greener on the other side. You know, you get to Vegas, now they're losing, they got injuries. Goaltending situation, goaltending problems. I don't know how the hell they let Marc-Andre Fleury go. I mean, it's just like they let him go. I know they have financial issues and whatever, but, you know, you let him go. You commit to Robin Lehner. Vegas, you make your own bed, okay? You've been just trying to, like, create this Stanley Cup winner like it's a Build-A-Bear, you know, shop. You know, you're just going to, like, have, like, the stuffing put in.
I don't know about that, Andy. You probably buy those
the stuffing goes into, like, the teddy bear, and then all of a sudden you create – it's like they want to manufacture it. You know, they tried so hard.
Doesn't work that way.
They bring in anybody they can get their hands on who's a, you know, star player or whatever. They want them, right? And I get that. And part of that I kind of respect, but at the same time, no loyalty to a lot of players there. And you look at how they're losing right now, man. And if you watch the Vegas Golden Knights, you know what stands out to me? And you see it right off the bat. They have zero chemistry as a team. No chemistry. And I know, again, they've got some big-time injuries right now. Some guys who are out of the lineup. But there's
you're playing shitty teams,
but there's something, I know, but there's something about chemistry within a dressing room, within a team. And when you don't have it, I don't care how good the players are individually, it's hard to win in this league. And Vegas is in some serious, real trouble. And I don't know if they can rediscover it. I'm not going to sit here and say right now with 100% certainty that they're going to miss the playoffs, but I will say it's either going to be them or Edmonton. I don't see both of them making the playoffs.
Yeah, I know it's going to be a little cat fight there, and it's going to be interesting for guys like us that are on the radio all the time. The drama, we want that, but for Vegas to kind of go all in and be in this situation, it's not good. They got a lot of money.
Well, there's going to be somebody's going to pay the price there.
They got a lot of money. They got a lot of money tied up and shit. So they need to be good. And look, you know, in reality, like I want Vegas to be good. I like that market. I want them to be relevant. I don't want Vegas to be like, oh, we don't like the hockey. Okay, move on to the next bright, shiny
football.
object. Or what's the next? Oh, how about those hot chicks walking down the road? Like you have so much distraction there, just like LA in a way, you know. But I want them to be relevant, man. They're fun. Like Andy, I want the Blues to fly us out there and like hang out with the fans like we did in New York. Like I love that city. It's cool. You want them to be relevant. You want that market to be hot, but they're not in sync right now. And Pete DeBoer, fuck, he's kind of losing a little bit. I know how that goes, man, with that guy. Well, I don't blame him.
No.
Get your fucking shit together. What else you want the organization to do for you?
I know.
Figure it out.
I know. Well, you just
but I didn't like what Jack. Hey, listen, don't ever blame the fans, dude. And even if they bash you, I'm telling you this, all y'all young kids and all that. If fans are bashing you, embrace it in a positive way. I'll tell you this with my experience, even playing in England and shit like that, where fans are really fucking crazy. They're crazy. They would bash me so bad with no glass, and I'd just turn around and be like, yeah, maybe you're right on that.
But you know what?
And the fans would afterwards wait for me and be, now they don't bash you anymore. Like, it's like, you got to play the game with them. But when you bash them, the people that are paying your paychecks,
yeah, now it's going to be worse next time.
I don't like that
because,
at all.
You know, we saw that with John Tavares when he went back with the Islanders. Remember? I mean, and it wasn't as bad as what he went through with the Islanders. I mean, he just got absolutely abused. We've probably never seen anything like that. We've seen players get booed all the time. I mean, Brett Hall comes back to St. Louis, and Brendan Shanahan, those guys were getting booed. That's just kind of what happens.
Yeah, but
you know, like when you're a star player and you leave and then you come back, you get booed. Like he's not the first one that's happened to. Yeah. You can't take it personal. And you just got to make sure you don't say the wrong thing, because you say the wrong thing, all of a sudden now you just compound the issue, and it's going to get even worse.
They liked you, but they wanted to bash you. But now they hate you, and they hate you. So it's like a big difference. Like never.
He only has to go there once a year.
They're always going to win, man. The fans are always going to win in that battle.
Hey, can I give a shout out to Robbie Fabry real quick?
Yeah, poor kid.
Okay, so Robbie Fabry, listen, he's got the torn ACL. This time it's in the right knee.
Okay.
Which I think is probably
better, I guess.
Better than having to deal with it for the third time in the left knee. Back in 2017, had back-to-back ACL injuries, missed the entire 17-18 season.
Yeah.
And now he's reestablished himself as an NHL player. He's got 17 goals this season, I think 30 points, something like that. And he got the contract extension. That's the good thing. He does have the contract extension that he just agreed to a few weeks back. But now he's going to miss the regular season, the rest of the regular season, obviously. But he's got another, ACL injury. I just want to give him a shout out, man,
I like
because that's got to be difficult. Former first-round pick, whatever. He's dealt with a lot, and he's still in the very early stages of his career. He's
going to be okay. He's got some money tied up to him, so he's okay. You got to look at everything with that, man. And look, man, sometimes your body just tears apart. Mm-hmm. But you got the contract. You're okay. You're going to be fine afterwards. But we are rooting for you because you're a good kid, man. And I like that Detroit team too. They're tough.
Oh, yeah, they're tough.
Although they got pushed. You're only tough until
by Calgary.
Hey, well, you're only tough until you play a motherfucker like Calgary who's like, what's up? We'll fucking beat you in every way possible.
But it's not like they put their tail between their legs either,
Not at all. But sometimes you need to know where you're at against a big dick.
Yeah.
And Calgary's got a big dick going right now. And they're mean and they're good and they're scary.
And they're the most interesting team to me entering the playoffs because I'm really eager to see. We talked about it last week, how some of the guys are going to respond to playoff hockey and whatever. Like, I want to see that. I'm not going to make any predictions or whatever. They've really passed the test. They're unbelievable. You look at their top line with Lindholm and Tkachuk. You look at all the, analytics and whatever, rush chances, goals off the rush, goals off the cycle, fortune. Like, they lead the pack on it and everything.
They're big, they're skilled,
yes.
And they're tough.
Yes.
And they might need a Giordano to solidify.
No, he left there, man. Since he left.
I know. No, I know.
Calgary, I think it's been for the better, really,
do you
inside
win?
That dressing room.
What do you want to win, though? So if I'm Gio, it's like I'm going to be quiet. I don't need to be the captain. I'm just going to be a fifth defenseman.
Can I just tell you what people are saying? People who watch Giordano right now, man, at 38 years of age, I don't know. At $6.5 million bucks,
there could be
as his cap hit. I know they could eat some money and whatever.
Eat some money on that.
I'd be careful how much I'm giving up to acquire Mark Giordano.
I get you on that, homeboy.
He's a third pair guy,
and
probably.
Know a lot more than I do when it comes to this stuff. I get that. I do. But if I'm Calgary, I'm like, I need one more guy if push comes to shove, and some of these fucking because Zadorov can't play those minutes, a couple Gabranson can't play them minutes, so it's like you need a guy.
Add something.
They need to add something. I like big, tough motherfucking teams that are like, fuck you.
Yeah,
we're big, we're skilled, we're mean. We got Lucic, we got Matthew. We're like, what? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? We got Zadorov step.
Matthew. I don't think he's got a fighting major all year long.
Doesn't matter. He doesn't need one.
I know.
Well, look who you have.
Right.
Look who you have. You don't need Matthew to go do what he wants. And Lucic's like, what? Lucic's like, whoa, I'm still the big dick. What? Who wants what? Get on with yourself. Zadorov sticking guys. Gabranson sticking guys. You got Johnny Hockey cruising around going 100 miles an hour. They're good.
Yep.
They're big. They're well coached. They're mean.
They'll start
I like
those
them.
Contract talks now, trying to get that done with Johnny Hockey. I'll throw it out there. Calgary fans may not like it, but I just don't see you keeping Gaudreau and Tkachuk.
What about Monahan?
I think it's one or the other.
What about Monahan? He's kind of like, what is he?
In and out.
Like, what is he?
In and out.
He's kind of like a cute kid. He's like, he kind of plays like you once in a while.
Maybe, yeah.
Well, he's like, I'm going to tiptoe around. And then I hit you and you bitch about shit.
Oh,
no, I'm just joking. He's not like that. But I'm just saying, like, I don't know, man. Listen, I like teams that are big and mean, dude.
And you know what else they have?
Mixture of shit.
They got Daryl Sutter, man.
That's what I said. They're well coached.
You know what I mean?
Bitter beer face will get you.
Yeah, he will. He's not long term.
I like him. We got to get his ass on.
I know. Oh, my God.
I ain't playing.
Yeah. He's not long term, but he's a guy who's
No, but he might win you a cup real quick and be like, we're disciplined.
Can I just say this? Everyone, and for good reason, I love Cale Makar, man. I think he's an incredible talent. Like, I've never seen anything like it on the back end, really. You include
who's better? Who do you think's better?
But like I watched this Roman Josi, and you look at him leading his team in scoring as a defenseman, and what he's doing, man. Like, and he doesn't have the team. He's not surrounded by the same guys that Makar is. He doesn't play with as much flash. And obviously he's been around longer, so his game is more mature. And Makar is going to go down as one of the all-time greats. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. He's an incredible player. Yep. He'll win multiple North.
Score 30 goals.
But I honestly, I think Roman Josi may be the best defenseman in the game today.
That's a hot take right there, homeboy. He's the most handsome defenseman, probably, with the probably hottest girl. But I think
that's got to count for something, right?
That's got to count. He's a notch up in my book.
I mean, doesn't that add something?
And
like an extra $1 million a year or something.
Yeah, it just means I like him more because you're a wheel. But the point is, like, he's good, man. Is he better than Cal McCarr? I don't know. But they're both really good. There's some defensemen you could throw in the mix like that, but if I'm going to go number one, it's probably McCarr. But
probably, because he's younger and whatever. But
he's blocking shots with his face and shit.
Does everything.
I'm like, oh, don't hurt that.
And he leads his team in scoring too. Like, he doesn't get enough credit for how good he is.
Can I give a shout out to Nashville
offensively?
Again? That Tanner Janelle.
Terrible uniforms.
The Smash Ville.
Don't ever have an NHL jersey that says Smashville on it.
Like, what are we in?
What is this? Is that a high school jersey?
What are we doing with that?
That is so embarrassing.
It's kind of.
I've always thought that about Nashville. Listen, I love the city of Nashville. My wife and I enjoy going there.
Of course you do.
My boy Lukey Cunning's on the team. I love this Forsberg. This is the best I've ever seen Matt Duchene play in my life.
Oh my God, was he good?
Who is this guy?
Oh my God, was he good?
I used to think he was like the most overrated player in the game, and all of a sudden now he's turned into like the most improved player in the game.
They lost 7-4 the other day. Matt Duchene was unbelievable.
And Johansson all of a sudden kind of plays hard now.
What's he doing? Sniping left and right. What the fuck is this?
And they got Forsberg on that line. I'm like, damn. Those dudes are unbelievable. I've never seen. Duchene was a guy to me that like all his highlights were all individual plays. Like, he always had, the quick cutbacks and he could turn on a dime.
He looked good, man, the other night.
But I'm watching this guy play. I'm like, damn, who is this? Which version of Matt Duchene is this? Smashville Matt?
Cruising around 100 miles an hour,
sniffing around.
Sniffing Nashville like, where them girls at? Yeah, I know.
Playing guitar.
He's playing. Who knows what he's doing down there? Jesus Christ.
Oh, my God.
Fuck, if you're a hockey player and you play the guitar in Nashville, Jesus, if Matty Lashoff was...
but my boy Lukey Cunning's on the team. Like, I like Nashville, but I've never really liked their fans. And they're just a little too much, man. And when you have Smashville on your jerseys, but the fans get into it. It's got to be an incredible place to play.
What did I say about chirping fans?
Don't bash
Don't
the fans.
You ever do that?
They have a section in the stands
give a shit.
that have like a high school chants and
I
stuff
don't
like
care.
that. And they hand out the program with how to read the chants. That's too much. No. Admit it. Just admit it.
It's goofy. I don't give a
shit. Thank you.
Everybody wants to play for Nashville. If you don't, then you're missing out because that city is unbelievable. And their passion, I don't care if they're a little corny. Mm-hmm. Who gives a shit? Now, their jerseys are goofy. Smashville. You don't need to fucking put that on your jersey. You're the goddamn sexual predators. You put that on there. You can put sexual on there. It doesn't matter. No, I'm just joking.
But the point,
do that. You can't do that. But if you want to chirp that way.
Remember the national anthem singer got upset a few years ago? They ended up fired his ass.
And no one cared.
Because they've got like Shania Twain singing the national anthem.
He's like, I'm used to do this. Sorry, sir.
He's like, I am the national anthem singer, and I think it's ridiculous that like Carrie Underwood is singing instead of me.
It's about me. Okay, no, we don't care. We have Carrie Underwood here.
Gone with yourself. Kakiniemi.
Who?
Kasperi Kakiniemi. Yeah. People in Montreal are losing their mind over this because like he's not putting up a ton of points. But let me just say this. When you sign a player to an offer sheet, and I heard some people break it down like, well, they overpaid him in the offer sheet. Well, that's how you get the player in the offer sheet.
1 year.
You don't sign him to a low number. You gotta offer him a number that the team won't match if you really want the player.
To do that.
And Montreal is like, okay, you can have him. Take him. He was like a scratch during the Stanley Cup final, which I heard, by the way, his agent went like absolutely crazy during that time.
Agents do
when he got scratched during the Stanley Cup final, just went crazy on Mark Bergevin, the former GM there in Montreal.
Get him on, by the way.
I know we do. So, but whatever. So now, like they sign him to an offer sheet. Well, they're going to have to keep him, and they can't announce the extension until like after the trade deadline because per CBA rules. So he'll get an 8-year deal.
Yeah, but didn't you?
In the range of
wait.
Or in the range of 4.25 to 4.5. I don't know the exact AAV is going to be.
But
I didn't really ask.
Wait. But didn't you tweet that out?
I did
a couple days ago, and then everybody's like, "Yeah, cool." And then other people in the media started tweeting that out like it was like new. Mm-hmm. Did I see that right?
I mean, you probably saw that.
But did they give you credit for that?
No.
Why?
It's because people don't like to give credit. I mean, it is what it is.
It was 24 hours beforehand.
Yeah.
You tweeted it 24 hours beforehand, and then the media got it and tweeted it, and they act like they tweeted it. But they didn't say it was you.
No.
It was 24 hours beforehand. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like 30 minutes. I don't get it.
No.
Were you like, what the fuck?
Kinda. Well, I'm so used to it.
What do you do about it?
Well, I'm used to it from some of these guys, man.
Well,
there's a few guys that I really have a ton of respect for, that I know are really plugged in, and obviously.
So you got that info before everybody else did, and you're like, okay, you worked for that. And I don't know how this works. Look, you got to understand, Andy does his thing. I do my thing. He's involved with all that. I'm not. And that's why he does his thing. But, like, you work for that, and then you get the information, and you put it out, and then literally 24 hours late, somebody else puts it out, and they get a bunch of attention. Mm-hmm. Are you like, well, are you going to credit me on that, or did they know? No,
because I know who some of these guys are. Listen, there's certain guys that I hold in the highest respect. I got like Elliot Friedman.
Love him.
Got a ton of respect for Elliot. He does. Darren Drager. I got a lot of respect for Darren Drager because he's been doing it for a long time. These guys are like OGs. Obviously, it all starts with Bob McKenzie.
Yeah, big Bob dog. Yeah.
After that, man, a lot of these guys they don't want to do that. So it is what it is. I will say that the fourth period, for example, a lot of people don't know who those guys. I'll give him a shout out because he works hard and whatever, and they gave proper credit.
Did they?
Although TSN said that I work for the Athletic. No, I don't.
No, you don't.
No. I don't work for the Athletic. Nothing against the Athletic. I like the Athletic, but I just don't work there.
No, neither do I.
So I'm kind of used to that, Cam. It is what it is. Does it bother you? Well, kind of. Because it's not their original report,
I'm not an insider.
And I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't take somebody else's report.
That's why I don't like when other people act like they're insiders,
and they know because they all follow. They know.
I hate when
it's not like they're doing it unknowingly, Cam. They 100% know.
I hate when ex-players are like, I got a scoop on something that my spidey sense tells me something.
Spidey sense,
and you're like, what the fuck? And like the one guy that you played with back in the day, like you're talking to, and now you're gonna tweet out. It's like I knew a couple things, and I would never do that, dude. I just wouldn't do it. I don't want the attention. I might fuck up. Like, I just want to be funny and entertain people. That's your fucking job. But I understand if you're pissed at people that just, like, take your shit and don't credit you. I'd be like, what the fuck?
When they 100% know, like these guys do all these, like, I
gotta stick up for you, Andy. I'm sorry, you're my partner.
These internet hits, and they're not even talking about this player or that player or whatever. And then all of a sudden they want to say like they know what's going on.
Just do your thing.
Pavelski, by the way, I reported that too.
I know.
He got that extension. That was a smart extension from the Dallas Stars. Jacob Chikrin. Lower body injury. Now, this could completely change the landscape of the upcoming deadline if he's unavailable. I was told yesterday by a source that he would be reevaluated on Tuesday. So the day that this podcast comes out, hopefully we'll have some news then in terms of the extent of the injury. If this is long-term, then obviously this is going to change things for a guy who a lot of teams obviously are hoping to get their hands on.
Yeah, I know, man. And you know what? It was weird, like even like talking about the Blues, which like they, fucking Jordan Kyrou. So the Blues are playing Winnipeg the other night, and we're always thinking of Blues, another big defenseman. Mm-hmm. God, they had that big Stanley.
They're going to do something.
Did you see the Stanley hit fucking Kyrou?
Yeah.
And he goes down and almost scores twice. I'm like, damn, this dude's like 6'7".
He hasn't scored a goal all year.
Well,
he's got like 0 in the year.
Well, he fucking laid out Kyrou at center ice, put his ass down, and they went out and they went right down and scored.
And I love talking to Paul. I love talking to Stastny because he's so smart in terms of how he knows the game.
Yeah, dude. It's in the
blood. If people could only understand like how he like grew up and how he was taught the game and how smart he is.
Fuck yeah.
And he's like, and he's always like, everybody wants to like
yoink.
Everybody wants to, make everything look all flashy, but, sometimes it's just about getting the job done and not having to do things that are unnecessary to do something that you could have done much easier.
No shit. Andy, no shit. I could have told you that.
There's a reason,
Paul, you don't have to tell
there's
you
a
that.
reason why some players have success and some teams win and other teams don't. It's not that hard to really – you and I talk about this all the time, Cam. It's not that hard to figure out why some teams have success and why other teams who have great players just don't have success.
Dude.
You know what I mean?
No shit. There's a lot that goes into it, man.
So everybody wants to toe drag and do this and do that. Well, it wasn't necessary.
Well, go ahead and try toe drag in the playoffs, too, by the way. You want to be cute in the playoffs, man. You'll get your ass fucking stomped on because these big boy defensemen are like chomping at the bit.
I'm saying is in regards to like some guys like Paul and like, Alexander Steen is kind of similar. Some of these, you just.
Steenie weenie?
You're losing. Some of these old school players that remain who can truly like break the game down and like think the game. You know what I mean?
No, I get
like some of these old school guys, like they're not gonna be around forever. Yeah. So I gotta give them a shout out. The Blues will do something. I don't know exactly what they're gonna do. Scandella wasn't very good over the weekend, but from what I understand, they will be able to move Scandella. So whether people want to believe it or not, I'm not going to sit here and say they have to move him or they need to move whatever. I'm just if they need to move him in order to bring somebody else in, and I just say him primarily because of his contract and the money that he makes. You got to move somebody. You got to move some money out if you're going to bring some money in. And if you're looking for a defenseman, he maybe it's a replacement for a guy like Scandella. We'll see how that plays out. And I'm not saying anything new because his name's been rumored. All I'm saying is I do think if Doug Armstrong wants to go down that road, I think he will be able to move him to a team, find a team that will take the contract.
Yeah, I get you on that. I do.
So they'll do something, and we'll see how it plays out. Maybe they'll add a forward too. You never know.
Never know. Well, Colorado's probably going to have that Claude Giroux.
Maybe getting back to that real quick before we get into Keith Primeau, who was unbelievable, by the way.
Great guy.
I mean, this guy.
Totally cool, man.
Really
just
cool.
Like down there. Like he answered it like he didn't think about what he needs to say. He just answered it like a true dude.
But I love how Colorado said, we think he can return before the end of the regular season. It's like, but if he doesn't, we just opened up a shit ton of cap space.
We're 17
and we'll bring him back in the playoffs, and we'll be able to go add Claude Giroux or somebody else.
Well, why wouldn't you do that?
I know.
People are like, "What's that back?" Well, no, they're 17 points in first place. Like they're dominating. Like the guy got hurt.
I don't know if they're 7.
Oh, whatever.
10,
Okay, fine.
12 maybe 12. Or 10.
Okay, they're 12 points above. It doesn't matter. My point is like they're in such a big.
No, they're in.
It's like, well, are you hurt? Okay, we're going to keep you out.
Yeah,
Kucherov.
Well, let's go ahead. Patrick Kane a few years back,
Kane
whatever. Hey, we'll just go ahead and get that cleaned up. So you're ready to go, man. Because it's been bothering him, from what I understand, for a little while. He's got 30 goals on the season.
Who else got hurt there, by the way? Somebody else.
Sam Girard.
Yeah, Girard.
He's out 4 weeks.
4 weeks. Okay, so he's going to be okay.
So he'll be back. But to me, I'm not a big fan of Girard. I know Avalanche people, they get upset with me when I said that last year in the playoffs. He likes to just spin around and whatever. But to me, he's not a guy, which is why I'm going to sit here and say, like, as much of a front runner as Colorado is, and maybe this is their year, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sold on their defense, man. I like that Taves and whatever. And I like Colorado for how good they are, and obviously Makar. But at the same time, I don't look at their goaltending and I don't look at their overall team and say they cannot be beat.
No, everybody could be beat, but I look at them also and I say they could beat anybody.
They can.
They could beat anybody they want to.
They can.
They could beat anybody they want to. They're good.
So anyway, this conveniently, sometimes you can put a player on long-term injury.
Well, he's hurt.
So we'll see what they do. They're going to do something too, obviously, and as they should, man. They want to go for it, and they, sometimes you just know it's your year, right?
Then go for it, baby.
So
you guys deserve it. You guys been grinding for a while.
What should people expect coming up here in Keith Primeau?
Man, he's fucking awesome, dude. We talked about Proby. We talked about his contract negotiations. We talked about him getting traded for players that ended up winning cups, and brought Brendan Moore and Larionov, and his concussion dude. He's just cool as shit.
And I will say this while we're recording, Cam.
Yeah.
This just came down. Austin Matthews has been suspended 2 games.
2 games, yeah.
Yeah. So we just said that earlier in the show.
He deserved it.
We should work for Department of Player Safety.
Deserved it. Yeah. Jargy listens to us, dude. Big Jargy.
Jargy knows.
Big Jargy's like, what Cam and Andy say?
Did you think Austin Watson deserved a suspension?
Nah.
For that hit on our boy Booch?
On Bucci? Nah. Okay. Nah. He caught him a little bit, but nah. Mm-hmm. Nope. And that's against Bucci, and Bucci's still out, and I love Bucci. And Buchnevich is going to be a big-time difference maker in the playoffs. He's big, he's tough, he's like, fuck you attitude,
Mm-hmm.
He got rocked by Austin Watson. I like that Austin Watson a lot.
Me too, I'd take his ass.
I like that motherfucker a lot. He's big, he's tough, he's mean. Mm-hmm. Went through a couple bullshit things that happened.
He did.
He got through it.
No, but he's had some other issues that he's overcome too, man. This guy's overcome a lot of adversity. I'll never forget Cam when he was drafted in the first round. I think the draft was in L.A.
Oh, he's a first-rounder.
Oh, yeah. Played in Peterborough.
Oh, really? OHL boy, eh? Fucking A.
You may have to confirm that, but I'm pretty sure Peterborough.
He's a first-rounder?
Oh, yeah. And I think I met his parents, and they have like 10 kids.
Oh, God.
And she was pregnant at the time, I believe, his mom, at the draft.
Oh, that's god-awful.
No, it's not. It's a big family.
It's horrible.
Like maybe 11 kids.
If I'm Austin, I'm like, Jesus, Mom and Dad, stop doing that. Weirdos.
Maybe like 11 or 12 kids. I don't know how many.
We don't have that much money. How much kids do you want? If I was a kid,
a lot of kids.
If I was a kid, my mom and dad keep like reproducing. I'd tell them to go fuck themselves. No, actually, I wouldn't say that.
You can't say that.
Stop fucking yourselves because you're causing too much. I want attention. Mm-hmm. You have 10 kids.
11 kids. You think everybody gets attention when you have 10, 11 kids?
No, they don't. They get neglected like no other.
Oh, you think so?
Fucking right. Okay. Are you? Unless you're a Rothschild. No, you're getting neglected.
What's a Rothschild?
Wealthy.
Oh.
Jesus, Andy. Anyway, if you have a ton of money, that's different. But if you don't have a ton of money, you have 10 kids, it's like, that's fucking, put a condom on, right? They're called condoms. Only sailors use them, right?
Sailors use those.
But they're condoms.
Or Olympic athletes use them too.
Yeah, sure. And no, you want to, listen, if you're banging some other Olympic broad, like you want to impregnate them because they're like, breeders. But the point is, if you have 10 kids and you don't have that much money, like what the fuck are you doing? Like give some of your other kids attention. Why do you need to have another child? I never understood that. Like there's got to be a cutoff somewhere.
Can I ask you one thing about this Russia thing real quick?
What do you need to know?
Like, what do you think of like CCM and Bauer and these companies saying we're not going to supply Russia?
Here's what I don't like.
With any equipment.
The Russian people, like you don't know what they're all about. You think all the Russian people over there are like, hey Putin, go to the Eastern Front and go through Poland and no. Like they're like, get me the fuck out of here. Like what am I doing? I don't want this. Everybody hates us. Hey man, remember when all the terrorist attacks happened? You gonna bash every Muslim you see? Every fucking person on the plane you're gonna look at? No, you're not. What about Japan, Imperial Japan, when all the Japanese came over here and treated them like shit? They gonna do that again? Vietnamese people. I mean, it goes on and on and on and on and on. Like you can't just you can't categorize one group of people.
You like the outdoor games?
Yeah, but that was.
I didn't get to watch it because I was downtown.
Somebody said something.
Lose in Winnipeg.
What did they say? And I'm like, somebody compared the stadium game in Hamilton look like a fucking dump. No offense, Hamilton.
Oh, you thought it did?
Was it the
where are they playing?
Was it a CFL?
A CFL team?
Was it the Rough Riders? Or the other Rough Riders? Sorry, CFL. Like, good fuck God. Embarrassing.
Nobody knows the name of that stadium. No one's ever knows. Like unless you're like Canadian and you really follow it.
You're not catering.
No
to
one down in the States like knows where they're playing.
Well, that's who you're trying to like bring in.
Right.
Like the Canadian folk already know we love all y'all. But like, let's be honest, that place is a dump. And you know what? When else is a dump? It's if you went to Michigan and you played in the big house. That place is a fucking dump too.
No,
sorry.
That's cool at least.
Place is a dump.
The big house?
It's huge, but it's a dump.
But it's got a lot of history.
I don't give a shit. It's a dump.
But it's like playing at like Yankee Stadium or Fenway. At least it's like an iconic. Yankee Stadium is
brand new.
But I'm saying I'm okay with these. You can't force the issue with outdoor games. I like the outdoor games, Cam. I think they can look really cool. But real quick, I feel like the idea, like Wrigley Field, Fenway Park, Yankee Stadium, the big house, Notre Dame, like iconic venues. Okay. Iconic venues.
Hamilton's not. No. And you're not catering to the Canadian folk. You're catering to people that shouldn't be watching. And you're like, hey,
Heritage is kind of catered to.
Yeah, I know. But you want to get eyes from the. Yeah, if you just do that, you ain't make. Listen, you're trying to expand the game.
Yeah, Buffalo's there too,
Yeah, so I know. My point is, like, people said the best Winter Classic was the one in
Buffalo.
No. The one in Salt Lake City. No, the one in
Tahoe,
when there's no fans there. So people are like, why are we going to these shitty ass, big ass buildings that just like there's nothing there? It's just like
that had the best landscape, although the ice melted.
I know, but I'm saying like. I like the scenic
Me too.
places, right?
Me too.
Like you could still get the eyes from the people watching on TV. Like you could sell out this, that, and the other. But like I like the places that have like a scenic view, something different. You go to these old places that just have 100,000 people.
I know. It's like what you just feel like you're watching a game that's outside.
No. Rough Riders.
Which
other
Rough
Riders? God.
You know what? The most underrated venue, which no one talks about because it wasn't a Winter Classic or whatever, was Dodger Stadium a few years back.
Yeah,
that was kind of cool looking.
Yeah, man. I don't know. They gotta do something different. I like the.
Where do you want them to play? Aren't they going back to Fenway or something?
On an island in the in the Caribbean.
Tom Brady's house.
The island in Caribbean.
Tom Brady, you just announced your retirement. You can't like if you're gonna unretire, like do it at least like a few months from now. Like don't do it like a few weeks later.
He's probably like, what am I doing? I got some juice left.
Well, why announce your retirement then? Like just chill and just wait.
I don't know, man. I like Tom Brady though.
Me too.
Everything about him's cool.
Oh yeah.
Everything about him.
And conveniently, he's announcing he's coming back like the day before. Like the free agents have to decide if they want to sign
funny how that works,
in Tampa Bay or not.
And that's why they didn't make any moves down there. But yeah, no, I like something different. It just seemed like blasé to me, Blasé.
The outdoor game?
Yeah, just blasé.
Now all the players are wearing their little outfits to the games, too? You like that? The construction workers?
Oh, the village people?
The basketball uniforms?
The village people?
The village people.
That's what they look like.
Were the Blues the first one to do it, kind of, with the beach wear?
But Toronto's like, we're going to be the village people. We're going to be construction workers. Well, you didn't bring your fucking boots.
You didn't bring your hard hat.
You didn't bring your fucking boots. Oh, boy. You didn't fucking bring your boots.
What'd they bring?
The fucking village people. You should have been the cop instead.
The village people.
Or the Indian guy.
Oh, my God.
You just look corny as shit. I'm sorry, Toronto. You look corny as fuck in a lot of ways. I'm sorry.
Even when they try.
Even when you try, like, you know, I don't know.
Marc-Andre Fleury. Why the hell would he want to go there? He's going to pick and choose wherever he wants. Now, he can handle it, but he just looks at that defense and he's like, not going to Canada. He's like, I already got my cups.
I'm not playing up there.
I've got my cups. I've got my Vezina. I've got money. Chicago's a pretty cool town. My family's happy.
I just want to be happy and not deal with the bullshit.
He's like, Florida already has a goaltender. I'd go there. Tampa Bay, they already have a goaltender. I'd go there. So,
hang out.
You know, I'm just chilling in Chicago right now. We'll see what happens with that, though. Maybe he'll end up in Toronto. It'd be kind of cool. He'd be a guy who could certainly like handle and deal with like the craziness up there. But anyway,
the fans deserve better in Toronto, man.
Yeah, Keith Primeau, man. We pretty much hit everything with this guy. And, you know, another guy whose career ended early because of concussions, but like big time phenom coming into the NHL, has an amazing story. Like, was involved in a lot of different things. Held out a couple of times.
Yeah. I like him a lot, man. He was totally cool.
Did you ever hold out?
That's funny, man.
You could have.
I couldn't.
No, but he had a reason to do it.
You held out your whole hockey career, didn't you?
I did. I'm still holding out. All right, let's get.
And he held out right after Parkway North. He's still waiting for that contract.
That's right. Oh man.
Fuck, that's funny.
All right, brought to you by.
Man, I felt like shit today, by the way.
Well, because of daylight saving.
What the fuck?
I don't get it. I don't.
Oh God.
Can you explain why it happens? Like you don't even know. It's the next day that's the hardest.
I ain't gonna lie to you, man. That's Sunday, Saturday afternoon Blues game. Sunday, fucking 5 o'clock Blues game.
6.
There's whatever. There's
you
stadium.
Didn't change your clocks, dude.
I know.
It's 6 o'clock.
Like Sunday was so beautiful. Like the sun's still in the air at 6 o'clock. I had the windows open. I'm barbecuing. The puppies are cruising around the backyard. Like
you barbecue.
We had mimosas going. Then I switched to wine. And Kate and I are just lighting candles. Like just fucking
man, what a shocker, lighting candles.
You know what we do.
That's their Instagram story, too.
Man.
Cam's still posting pictures from his weekend getaway.
No, I got more weekends coming up here.
I know. Well, now it's done.
I didn't post anything lately.
Videos from your weekend.
No, I didn't.
I'm seeing lots of it.
That's other people posting. I'm done with... No. I know how to do social media.
Yeah, okay.
You need to take notes on Instagram and Facebook. You're good at Twitter. The dumbest fucking thing ever. I want to hear your opinion. Everybody's got the Ukraine sign.
I'm more involved on Instagram now than I am Twitter. I kind of like Instagram better. Anybody who wants to follow me, feel free to come on board.
Follow both of us. I'm cooler than you.
And my Cameo, by the way, is getting back up and running too. So we are Cameo's on sale right now. Anybody wants to hit me up for Cameo? Somebody came up to me the other day.
Mine's not. I added money.
You ever do a Cameo? Oh, you did?
Yeah. Mine's $100
really?
now.
Oh, God. Well, I guess it's worth it if you're going to do it.
No, I do 6 minutes.
So,
I'm not doing it.
Okay.
$50.
What's it like when you do a Cameo and then all of a sudden you meet some random guy who says, hey, I was the guy that sent you that Cameo? Yeah. It's kind of a cool situation.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I'm like, cool, man.
Yeah.
Cool. What's up? Yeah. Thank you for
paying for
me. And I'm like, I'll buy you a beer or something. I feel like I owe him something after that or something. You'll get there one day, Andy. You'll meet somebody that you did a Cameo for.
Thank you.
The 2 people
I just did. I just told you I did. The guy came up to me. He's like, "Hey, I'm so and so."
Did you say sorry?
No. He's like, he loved it. He loved it. 5 out of 5, dude. I get 5 stars only.
Cameos. I had to bump it up.
Can I throw this out there too? And of course, we all know anybody who wants to like come on board and sponsor the podcast, man. We're looking for partners.
Yeah, absolutely.
Always love to partner with you. Can anybody fix a damn SD card? I'm looking for somebody who can fix a damaged SD card and recover something that we really want to save, you know?
Yeah. Can we say what it is or no?
An interview. Just don't say who it's with.
Right.
But it's an interview that we lost because the SD card is, Hall of Famer.
Fucking Hall of Famer.
Maybe the most recognizable name in the history of the game.
Yeah. I know. Jesus.
We lost the interview because of a damaged SD card. We sent it out to some guy. He wanted to charge us like a crazy absorbent amount.
We beat up our digital guy too, Brody. We smacked him around too, so he took a beating in the process. Right. So it's like we need help with this.
So anybody who can fix this. And we will give you your company, obviously, lots of
we'll pump
exposure,
their shit up.
Dude.
Yeah, you got to help us with this, man. It's a Hall of Famer. Yeah. And he's probably like, you guys going to post this? And we're like, I know. Like, what do you do?
What did Brody... I want to get down to the bottom of this.
Brody, what the fuck happened
there? What did you fucking do to
Poor Brody. He's concussed right now.
What did you do? What did you do? And he just like sends it out to... He just sends it to Ohio.
It was like, I tried my best. I looked up the best thing. I sent it here, and they offered
I'm like, well, you sent it where? I'm like, well, get it back.
Get that goddamn thing back.
The guy wants to charge like $3,000
He's just trying to get it done, man. Brody's doing everything he can. It's just a weird thing. So we've got some guys on this, but... we don't want to miss out on that, man. How bad is that?
Did you see the Minnesota State hockey hair?
Yeah, I fucking love it, man. Those guys are all cool as shit. Good old boys. When I was in Jersey, they had all the captains of all the high school teams.
You would not be you would not be in that club. I'll tell you that.
Well, I wouldn't be playing high school hockey, so I was playing major junior.
Okay,
but whatever.
But like Minnesota's different. They don't play AAA hockey during the season. They play their high school. It basically is AAA hockey. Okay. I was playing major. Well, they're like 16, 15, 16, whatever.
15?
They're 15? If they're a freshman.
No, they're 16 through
they're a
19.
Freshman. Yeah. But a lot of these guys, they will play high school, and then they'll go play in the USHL when this high school season ends.
That's cool.
And then they come back and whatever.
So what are you trying to say? They have better hair than me? Yeah, I know. Good God. Like what else can we say? That they're like, but what else? They're better. Yeah, fine. They're better than me. They have better hair.
Just talk about hair color.
I'm glad Brody posted that because they got some fucking sick ass goddamn hair.
Sir.
And I'm like, what's up, boys? And they shake it off when they stop. A couple guys almost blew a tire too. It's so funny.
One guy's promoting his landscaping company. See that's cool. That's smart.
And you know what? If I lived there, I'd fucking hire you just because of that.
Oh yeah.
You and your badass.
Yeah. And the guy who does the voiceover does a good job too.
Great job. I love all that shit, man. Yeah. They're totally
Minnesota
cool
State hockey hair, man.
Yeah, I love it. Something I wish I had back in the day, but I just
hair.
Hockey hair. I had hair, but I didn't have hockey hair.
Well, you bleached it. Once you bleached it, you lost it, dude. That's what happens.
Fucking idiot. I did it a lot, dude. Yeah, I bleached it all the time.
Terrible idea.
I know. Well, the girls didn't mind.
So tell them about Hair Club.
Well, you can go to Hair Club and you get that goddamn thing fixed. I'll tell you this right now, man. They have so many different locations and there's so many different options for you guys. And all the hardest part is just walking in there and getting a consultation. And they'll go through your hair and they're like, here, this is where it's coming out, blah, 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 blah. Here are the options. Here are the payment plans, by the way. Listen, when you're young and you're losing your hair and you're staring at yourself in the mirror and you're going out that night and you're trying to fix your hair and you're putting gel and the gel's too thick. Now it clogs your hair up. Now it makes it even look more thin. Like, that's a tough process to go through. I know it seems petty, but it's not, man. There's guys I talk to in the business, in the TV business, where the people in the hierarchy of the TV business would tell the talent, you don't have the look. Ooh. And what that means is you don't got the hair for it. Yeah, Andy,
gotta have that. A
couple dudes, man, you know who I'm talking about. Yeah. And they had to go get a fucking rug put on, or they got to go get this done. Yeah, a rug. Where Hair Club will actually put your own hair into your head. Yeah. It's your hair.
I know.
That you have an abundance of in the back of your head. They have fucking options.
Over 40 years, Hair Club, helping people.
You don't have the look.
Experiencing
how demoralizing
all levels
is that?
Of hair loss, though, Cam.
Oh, God.
They've got a solution for everybody, and they want to sit down with you right now. Go to our landing page, hairclub.com/Cam and Strick. And get your consultation there, and you're going to save a boatload of money when you do it from our landing page. 800-279-7878. You can call them as well. Be sure to mention us because that's when you're going to get the discount. 800-279-7878. In case you didn't understand, Cam, here's what they do. They're not just a company or a brand, Cam. You know, they're like a family of healthcare experts whose mission is to help people get the hair that they love. They genuinely believe life is better when you love your hair. Ooh, I like that.
Well, you feel more confident.
Life is better when you love your hair.
Confidence is everything, dude. It really is.
Your journey to hair you love will shape us into who we are tomorrow. That's really that's really interesting. I agree with that.
You got better hair, you're more confident.
Yeah, so they want to tell you all about their products and services. So again, go there today, hairclub.com/Cam and Strick. That is our
You don't want a company
landing
looking
page.
at you and saying, we love your talent.
Yes.
You are witty as shit. But you don't have the look.
Oh, my God.
You know what that means?
Oh my God.
You don't have the fucking hair.
You don't have the hair. Or the teeth.
Andy, you don't have the look because, well, you just don't have the look. Your hair's kind of decent, but if they say it to you, then be like, yeah, it's everything combined. Oh. But usually, it's just your hair.
Yeah.
Although you're working TV for some reason, though. So you must have the look. Actually, you know what? Kate and I were, I'm going to give you a compliment. Kate and I were watching you tonight, and Kate goes, he looks fucking young. And I'm like, God, he does, doesn't he? You look so young. You look good, man. You look good.
Yeah, well, thank you. Well, you just chirped me, and now you're coming back the other way.
I chirp you for a lot of things because you act like you're an athlete and you did this and that, and I beat you for that. But you look good on TV, man. You really do.
Okay, well, thank you,
100%.
Kim. Thank you, Kim. CarShield. CarShield.com. 800-857-2481. Listen, you call them today, man, and they will hook you up. Ice-T's been he's been very loud on social media recently.
Yeah.
And he's a spokesperson for CarShield. 800-857-2481. Mention the promo code CAM. You're going to save 10%, which is highly embarrassing, but I also highly recommend it because you're going to save lots of money, so you got to do that. HairClub.com and CarShield. That's a winning combination. All our sponsors, by the way.
Yeah.
CarShield, again, when something goes down in your car, could be a alternator, could be a starter, could be a computer. We're talking thousands and thousands of dollars, but that's why you got to make sure you're protected. Get protected today with CarShield. 800-857-2481. Mention that promo code CAM. They will hook you up. You get to pick where you want to have it serviced. You pick your mechanic. They hook you up with a rental car cam. Sometimes it's just too good to be true with our friends over there at CarShield, but it is true, and we love our friends over there. Yeah. All right, the BBB, the Better Business Bureau, man. Where do you turn when you're looking for an honest opinion? You go to the BBB. They've been reviewing companies for hundreds of years, Cam. Hundreds of years. When you go to bbb.org, you can learn about the newest scams impacting consumers in our areas, too. Because there's a lot of scam artists out there who we don't like.
No, we don't like them. Absolutely not. And I tell you what, when you're staying at a hotel, God, do you want to know?
Well, you should have looked it up before you stayed at that Sheraton.
Well, they paid for it.
No, what? Doesn't matter.
And there's no bathroom in the goddamn lobby.
Oh, my God.
It's horrible. There's no bathrooms anywhere in New York City. Fuck New York City.
Really?
I'm sorry.
Oh, you're anti-New York City?
Oh, I'm not going to lie to you.
Could you live there?
Fuck no. No way. It's too much.
Use the BBB to research a business before spending your hard-earned money. That's basically what it comes down to. Use the BBB before you decide where you're going to spend your money.
Why not do it? Why not? It's free. Just do it.
Say hi to Natasha and Chris.
Hi, girl. What's up? Oh, hi, Chris. Hi, Natasha. Hey, Chris.
Say hi to Chris.
I said hi to Chris.
And Natasha.
What's up, Natasha? What's going on?
She's just getting it done over there. People are telling me she's so easy to work with, easy to deal with. You can give them the call, too, if you want to talk to somebody. 314-645-3300. Ask for Natasha. Tell them we sent you. And if you want to be an investor, if you want to support the BBB, they can explain how you can do that too. So when you go to bbb.org, though, this is important. You could submit a get a quote, which will go to trustworthy BBB accredited businesses to give you estimates for any work you need to complete your house.
Oh my God! Yes, that's another goddamn thing.
Yes,
complete your house.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh Lord, dude. You got to know.
The BBB, the Better Business Bureau. Have you been chewing on your loosey-goosey? You mentioned Lucy in the interview with Keith Primeau. You didn't even know it. You said you can be all loosey-goosey.
Yeah, you like that?
Oh, yeah.
I know. Well, it's stuck in my head because I use it. Hey, you don't realize when you do chew tobacco, even if you're on a plane or a bus and you're around strangers and you open that tin up, people get sick to their stomach, even just opening in it.
Really?
Not the Lucy stuff. No, like a grizzly.
Like somebody who doesn't chew?
If somebody doesn't chew and I open my grizzly up.
Dude, you're making people sick?
I know.
Oh, my God.
Andy, no doubt about it. So I took that.
What about when you have the Lucy?
They're like, oh, my God, what does that smell? It smells great.
Mango?
Cinnamon. It's cinnamon. It's mango. It's this. They're like, what is that? I want to make out with you. I'm like, no, you can't because my wife's right next to me and I'm a loyal guy.
She may want to make out.
Well, I already did that. Okay. But the other chicks want to make out with me. I'm like, I can't do that.
You just hold it up and be like, it's Lucy.
I go, you don't want to. make out with me because I'm kind of hideous looking and I am married, but it's just a Lucy. Here, try one of these. And they're like, oh,
what would you offer them first, the gum or the lozenge or the pouch?
Well, if it's a chick, I'd give them some gum because I'd be like, here, take the cinnamon, and you're not going to want to smoke darts or anything. But if it's a dude, I'll give them a pouch, and they'll be like, oh, shit, what's up? Let me eat one of these bad boys. And you're like, hey, I'm cool. I don't want to smoke my darts or take the grizzly in my breath. I can make out with chicks now. But if you have fucking grizzly and shit in your mouth, like, you're fucking hideous looking.
That's terrible.
You look hideous.
That's actually terrible.
Well, you have the Lucy-Goosey. Girls are like, let me make out with you and have a make-out session. I'm like, no, I'm married. Okay, but if I wasn't, I'd fucking.
When are you using your loosey-goosey?
All the time.
You go with the gum mostly,
or do I put the goddamn pouch in because I want to taste that motherfucker in my lip, and then I do my 3-hour radio show with that bad boy in. My breath smells fresh as fuck. I'm like, "What's up, baby?" I'll swallow that shit like a man, or a woman, and then I won't even crave my grizzly at all until like 3 hours later. It's quite nice.
And then you put another one in.
Put another fucking loosey-goosey, and I make out with somebody else.
What's the promo code?
Probably fucking Cam Strick.
Yeah, it is.
That's what it is.
Yeah. Cam Strick. Make sure you use that promo code when you go to lucy.co. Lucy.co. You got to go there. And we do need to let people know, warning, nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Oh, no shit?
Yeah.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. Just in case you didn't know.
Louise. That's my bank account, that.
What?
With Grizzly, I spent so much goddamn money on shoe. It's like, fuck, I could have an extension on my house by now, but I spend it on this stupid shit. Now, loosey-goosey, I just take one of those bad boys. It lasts me 4 hours. Saves you money, dude.
Warning, the product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. Just want to let people know.
Thanks, Andy. What else is addicting? Tell me what's addicting, so I need to know.
Bellman.
Oh, God. Oh, I want a shit kicker. I do.
Bellman. He was at the game last night. I bet. Danny boy.
The gas prices will go down eventually here.
Oh, is that you have a report on that?
Actually, no, I don't, Andy. And I'm trying to be like nice about it, but I don't think they're going to go down because I think this is kind of like a thing that they want to like move into the electric status of things.
Well, even the ladies said that.
So they're like, well, this is the new norm. We have high gas prices.
But if you have an electric car, then you don't have to worry about it.
Then go buy a $70,000 electric car. It's so easy to do. All these wealthy fuck psychopaths are like, well, I don't care if they get rid of all the diesel. I have an electric car. Just go buy one. Well, you make $7 million a year. They cost $70,000. Like you can go buy
for the basic version.
Okay, then get the cheapest one possible.
No,
like you can,
basic 70. So it goes up.
Oh, my point is
like a Tesla's costing $170 grand.
I'm sorry, but
grand.
To just like switch cars like that, it's not an easy thing to do, especially when you're going through a crisis like this. Like so, like it's like whatever. So anyway, I don't know.
So you just go to Bellman, and they'll hook you up in a good car that's going to get good gas mileage.
Dude, they have everything.
Help us get through this.
And if you're still a shit kicker and you want a shit kicker, they got it.
You know where you go for that, by the way, to Bellman. Out there in Troy.
Yeah.
Troy, Missouri.
They got two different
they got the Buick GMC. I'm looking at the GMC, though. Although, Cam, I know you want, with the gas prices and everything, that $2,500.
I don't care.
Okay. All right. Because they got a lot of different options for you. With the Buick, the GMC. On the other side of the street, they got the Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. They've got something for everybody.
Yeah.
No matter if you're turning 16 or if you're turning 60 or 70 or 80, whatever it is, or somewhere in between, they've got the perfect car for you. Do you live in a wet climate? Do you live in a wintry climate? Do you live in a dry climate? They've got something for everybody.
Desert?
Do you want like a convertible? Do you want a 4-wheel drive? Listen, go there, and most importantly, Cam, when you go to Bellman, you get what?
Well, you don't get swinging dicks.
Mm-hmm. So that's important, right?
Well, it is important.
Yeah.
Do you want to go to a place where a bunch of swinging dicks come out and say that they're tougher than you and they hung out your girl?
Cam's looking at that pink Jeep small wheels 2-door, and there's nothing wrong with that,
people
dude.
Still think I'm cool.
There's nothing wrong with that. All right, Keith Primeau. You know he's driving a shit kicker.
Yeah, he is. He's a cool cat,
and his son Caden's playing for the Montreal Canadiens, man.
I saw him backing up the other day.
Oh, yeah. Yep. So, anyway, great conversation with this guy. Former 3rd overall pick back in 1990, one of the best drafts in the history of the NHL. Awesome guy. People are going to love this interview with the one and only Keith Primeau, the brother of Wayne, on this edition of the Cam Strick Podcast. The Cam Strick Podcast is brought to you by CarShield. You know, nothing more frustrating, Cam, than when that engine light comes on and you know right off the bat you're going to have to spend thousands of dollars to repair your vehicle. Call 800-857-2481. Mention the promo code CAM or visit carshield.com. and use the code CAM to save 10%. Yeah. That's carshield.com. A deductible may apply. Save yourself money. Sign up and get your coverage now with carshield.com. Now up to the interview.
Hello.
Big Keith.
How are you?
What's up, big boy?
What's going on today? How are you?
Not much.
Everything good? Yeah, thanks for doing this.
Yeah.
We appreciate it for sure.
Yeah, man.
No problem.
Where are you at? You in New Jersey?
I'm home. Yeah, I finally got home. I've been on the road the last 10 days. I was in Omaha for Chase's senior weekend 2 weekends ago. Then I went to California for work, stopped in Denver, then to Columbus to watch my niece play. She plays at Syracuse University, so they were in a play-in for the women's Frozen Four. Then to Western Michigan for Chase's final weekend, and then got home last night, went to the Flyers Habs game, and then got in last night. So I've been gone for about 10 days.
But why did I think Caden was going to play last night? Like, wasn't that the plan?
Not in. I mean, I would have thought that would have been my plan, but I don't make the decisions.
Wow, you might have to call Marty. You must have hit Marty St. Louis a little up high back in the day. I don't know.
Yeah.
Although they turned it around right now in Montreal, it's good to see them start winning some games, and it looks like
they're playing.
They're having fun.
Yeah, well, they're sticking with it, right? They're staying in games.
So listen, man, you're traveling like a crazy. I mean, all over the place. Like, fill us in. Like, you've got 4 kids, right? So for people who don't know, you're mentioning all these names like Chase and whatever. So he plays at Omaha, Nebraska, or where's he playing?
Yeah, Chase just finished his senior year at University of Nebraska Omaha. So he's just trying to figure out what the next step is, right?
Yeah,
he's got some interest. And they're just trying to figure out what the right fit is, what the next move is.
So raising hockey players, like, did you just know right off the bat, like, this is what they were going to do? Like when did you know they had it? Like, that they could truly, advance as far as they have right now?
So I actually went, I didn't think it was going to play out this way. I finished in 04, 05 was the lockout, and then I came back for 05, 06, and I got hurt in October of 05, and I just, my kids were still young, and we went and bought a place in the Poconos, and I thought we were going to go spend our winters skiing and snowboarding and doing all the winter sports that I never really got the opportunity to do. Go hunting in the fall and different things, and then the boys started playing, started skating, and they just took to it. And everybody says you got to play multiple sports, all different seasons stuff. And my guys, they just wanted to be on the ice 12 months a year. And in Caden's case, he actually didn't really want to be on the ice. He just wanted to sit out in the middle of the ice because he wanted to be in goal. And I'm like, no, you're going to learn to skate. And I happen to have equipment because my oldest one, of the 4, I have another one that's a few years older. When I was in Detroit, he started in goal, and I had Bauer send me some equipment. So I had the old equipment in the garage. So I was like, okay, go ahead. You can go in there and get banged around for a game, and then that'll be the end of it.
Yeah.
And he actually went out and was able to stop a puck. And so right from day one, I kind of felt that he had certain ability. Chase was a little bit later. I coached him as well all the way up until he was about 15, and then his first U16 year, I didn't coach him, and he kind of blossomed. So I might have been the anchor.
Isn't that funny though? Isn't that funny? Yeah. You thought that for one, you thought like, oh, we're gonna get a place and we're gonna go skiing and we're gonna do this. No, you're not. You're gonna be at the rink every day. That's what you're gonna do. You got 4 kids, man.
And one's a goalie. Yeah, That's so stressful. I don't know how you guys do it. Parents that have goalies, man. I don't know how you do it.
Yeah, when he wanted to be a goalie, were you like, can we talk about this? Or were you like, you know what, just do what you want?
No, my message to parents whose kids want to play goal is don't let them.
Yeah. Well, it's stressful for one, and it's hard to make a team being a goalie.
Like, and they don't play every game either, and it costs just as much, you know, Keith. It's like you still got to pay for the hotel on the weekends and whatever. And
no shit.
Knowing, especially when they're younger, they're not playing every game. They pretty much alternate goalies, right?
Yeah, and that's right all the way through, right? Like it's right from minor hockey right up until the highest levels. There's just no guarantee that you play a sport that you love in a position that you're passionate about, but that doesn't mean you get to play the hockey game. and so that's a challenge in itself. And then I always say, like, in a 6-1 game, your team's winning 6-1 or 5-1. The game's over for the players, but for the goalie, every shot counts, every goal counts. You got the whole 60 minutes counts because they're viewed on how successul they are.
Mm-hmm. And you hear the other. Do you ever have to go up to another parent and be like, "What'd you say about my kid?"
Yeah.
well, the good thing was I was on the bench with Caden until they left to go play junior. But no, since then there's a Twitter crowd that you want to smash their face in a little bit.
Oh my God! And you can do it.
Take a breath. Just take a breath.
Hey, just Google Keith Primeau. There's plenty of
you want some of this
evidence.
Hey, do you realize though when you're coaching your kid, like sometimes, man, like it only goes so. Look, your knowledge is always going to go far, but like just always being around him, like he just maybe needs like somebody else to have an opinion on things and guide them, right? Sometimes you have to kind of walk away and let him have another coach.
And Caden does. So he has a really good relationship. I searched out a gentleman named Chris Canali when Caden was about 10. I had a couple other local guys. We live in South Jersey. It's becoming more of a hockey hotbed. Johnny Gaudreau and the Robinson brothers and James Van Riemsdyk and Anthony D'Angelo. There's guys. And there's more and more guys coming out of it. Ross Colton's a local kid. But it's not like it's teaming with coaches and private lessons and skills guys. Like if you're in Toronto or one of those Canadian cities. So I found Chris, who had been doing some work with Trent in the East Coast League as well. So we've done some pro stuff. And they've built a tremendous relationship. It's probably his hockey relationship is probably closer with his goalie coach mentor than it is with me, which is great because I didn't play the position and I can help from a mental perspective, but I just don't see the game the same way. With Chase, the forward at UNO. We can have a conversation after the game because I see things and I can understand it. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely a different dichotomy with goaltenders.
Okay, but explain their upbringing versus yours, though. Now, you've got your brother Wayne, and like you guys are both just obviously elite players, whatever. You're third overall pick, so that doesn't happen overnight. So obviously, people knew that you were going to be good. Unbelievable draft, by the way, the 1990.
Oh my God.
I mean, look at the names in that draft.
Yags went 5th.
Oh yeah, Yager went 5th. I mean, you've got Kachuk and Wayne.
Yeah, thanks. You couldn't go the whole interview without bringing that up.
Who went for Owen Nolan went first, right? Then Peter Nevin and some of these guys.
It was a super deep draft. I mean, then I went third. Owen, Peter, myself, Mike Ricci, Jaromir Jagr, Darian Hatcher,
Marty Brodeur,
Keith Kachuk,
Dougie Waite.
I think. I mean, the sixth overall pick was Scotty Sissons. And Scotty was a super nice kid. But he was, and at that time the Islanders were making some, I don't want to say bad, but they weren't making great early draft trades, and they had a lot of high picks.
They're still missing out on draft picks. We just had Bobby Clark on. He filled us in like on the situation going on with the draft, but we don't need to talk about that. Go ahead.
Yeah, and Scotty, I mean, I think it was 21 picks then. I think it was 21 teams at the time. Scotty was one of maybe two guys who didn't have careers in the NHL. Like Mark Gregg was a first rounder that year. Brad May was a first rounder that year. I mean, it was every single guy in that draft played, and then there was other guys like Peter Bondra who were like 7th round picks who played as well. So it was He's a very good.
We just had him on, yeah. And by the way, I thought we just had Peter Bondra on. I thought you said Flyers. You said Islanders.
No, he said Islanders.
So never
we
mind.
had Bobby Clark on, and he kind of went off on the Flyers.
He did. But go ahead, man. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Clarky was ripping on the Flyers, was he?
Oh yeah. Well, he just said, hey, nobody. Well, listen, he just had some comments about Ron Hextall. Because when Hextall was GM, that basically he isolated himself from the rest of the organization, and nobody wanted to draft Nolan Patrick. I mean, he was saying they wanted Cale Makar. There were some other guys, obviously, and they drafted Nolan Patrick. So I kind of felt bad for Nolan Patrick. He really threw him under the bus, but nonetheless, I mean, hey, listen, he came on and he was honest with us, so that's his opinion on it, you know?
Yeah, everybody's entitled opinion, and I mean, in retrospect, he's probably not wrong, but I mean, wouldn't we all like to have hindsight?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Hey, how big were you when you were young? Like, were you always a big kid? And you and Wayne, like, you guys go at it when you're young. Like, did you dominate when you're young? And when did you know you were good?
So, same thing. I think my dad recognized that I was I had some talent. We started in Markham, Ontario, and Whitby was a rival, and they had a pretty good team. And we didn't move to Whitby entirely for the hockey opportunity. But, my dad, took a job in Pickering, which is, between
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, in between Markham and Whitby at the time was all back roads. It wasn't all the freeways there are now, but we moved to Whitby. They had a gentleman there named Larry Windover, who's really good with skills coaching. And off of that team, there was two of us that played in the NHL, myself and Adam Foote. So we were a double-A center at the time. If you remember back then as well, you didn't have, it wasn't based on how good your team was. It was based on the population of your town. And so we were just double-A. But we would go in and play all the AAA teams in the city. And we had a really big team. I was just probably average size on my team until I was 13, 14. Then I went from 5'10" to 6'3" in a span of 5 months. And that actually really hurt my game because I started having some, growing things with my knees and there was actually borderline, making that Bantam team. But then I was able to sort it out, and I was drafted as an underage to Hamilton, the Hamilton Steelhawks, which became the Niagara Falls Thunder. But I wasn't scouted in Ontario. It took us going to the Kamloops International Bantam Ice Hockey Tournament in Bantam to be scouted by the Western League Scouts. I tore it up. It was the end of the year, and they all started calling back east, going, "Who's this Primeau kid?" And they're like, "Well, what are you talking about? He's playing Bantam AA." And they're like, this kid would, play in the Western Hockey League now. So that perked everybody's interest. And within, the last month before the OHL draft, I started garnering a lot of interest, and I was taken as an underage and then played 3 years in Hamilton, Niagara Falls, and then into Detroit as an 18-year-old.
Yeah, but how do they not know that that's like the size of the town? Like, how do the scouts not know that you could be unbelievable, but you're playing AA because of the town? Like,
it's funny. Yeah. So and again, a Bantam like that year, Mike Ricci was playing midget in for the Toronto Marlies, and tearing the cover off the ball, and so people like, oh, this kid, he's a surefire OHL player and probably NHL pick. And I grew up playing against Reach, and we were, very similar, stats wise, position, but again, playing Bantam AA, the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds had a local guy, who we knew well, was at every one of our home games, and they'd never said a word. And the night before the draft, they call and they go, "Listen, we want to take Caden. We want to take Keith with the first pick in the second round. Would he report?" And my mom was out of town with my sisters at a swim meet, and my dad's like, "I can't make that decision tonight. Like, I got to get a hold of my wife." And at the time I was 15, and so my dad gets a hold of my mom, and they had all year to talk to me and prepare me for that type of move. And my dad just said, "No, we're not going to send our 15-year-old to Sault Ste. Marie." the night before the draft, and so I didn't. And then the next year they actually took Adam Foote with the first pick in the second round. Adam had a great career at Sault Ste. Marie, and then we know about his NHL career as well.
Yeah, so they're like, we don't want that 6'3" that could skate, that's tough and score goals. Yeah, don't mind him.
Hey, but you just touched on something. What's that like though? Because now you're in your parents' shoes though. You've got young kids, whatever, and you got to let go when they're teenagers, whatever, 15, 16. They move on and play junior, 17, whatever the age is when your kids left. Like, how difficult was that? And like for your wife, especially, like if she hadn't been through that growing up, I mean, like,
yeah, she wasn't.
The moms don't know how to, like, they don't always get it, right? In terms of like junior hockey and whatever. So like letting your kids go when they're teenagers, man, that's got to be hard.
And as the individual, for me, it wasn't. Like, it was just a natural evolution. I felt like I was mature as a 15-year-old. I was okay. And again, Hamilton, my first year was an hour and 15 minutes away. My parents were there every weekend for the games. It wasn't like, I wasn't ostracized to, the Great White North. But I know, and my brother and Wayne was, he's 4.5 years younger. And I know there was nights that, my mom and my brother cried themselves asleep when I first left, because that's, 15 years old. You're all of a sudden as a parent, you don't expect it. And then I fast forward to when my boys left, the first year really impacted me. Like I coaching them right up until the year they left. My day consisted of getting up, taking them to school. They went to private school, so I had to drive them to school. 30-minute drive in the car to drop them off. I would go home. I'd do some work for my business for 4 or 5 hours. I go back to school, pick them up at 1:30, 2 o'clock. Our ride to the rink was an hour. I ran practice. We worked. They worked out. I got in the car and we got home at 7:30, 8 o'clock. And so I spent the entire day with my kids, and then all of a sudden they're gone.
Yeah.
And that, I really struggled the first year. I found myself very depressed with not having my boys around. And then it wasn't until and so they were in Lincoln. They were both in Lincoln together. We'd actually rented an apartment out there, so we spent some time with them. And my wife was still, when we were there, she'd cook meals for them. Boys would come over. It wasn't until the second year that actually impacted her, because she wasn't doing that. She wasn't cooking meals for them. They were gone. They were gone. It was really the dynamic was really interesting, how it affected both of us in different ways.
Did you like, my dad would annoy the hell out of me when I left, like call me every single day. And this before cell phones. Like, were you in that point where you're like, I'm bored? What are you doing? Hey son, what are you doing?
How was practice today?
Like, I'm hanging out with people. Like, get away from me, Dad. Like, I know, man. That must have been tough for you.
How did we survive before cell phones? It's like,
oh shit.
You pick up the phone, like, oh, where's my daughter at right now? I pick up the phone. I'm with friends. Okay, great. But then it was, you pick up the rotary dial and you call. You're supposed to call home at 6 o'clock every night, so you're checking in, so everybody knows you're okay. And then you're gone for 24 hours again until the next 6 o'clock call. It's just a different world that we.
Cam still has a rotary phone, just so you know.
My parents still have one too.
He's got like the big car phone.
Yeah.
Hey, man, that's crazy. All right, let's fast forward a little bit. So, like, then you get drafted. Like, you end up in Detroit, young kid. Yeah. And I'm just looking at the roster there. I mean, it's just like one legend after another. I mean, already established people, right? And players with Yzerman. And I don't know, Lidstrom was young and Fedorov was young. But, I mean, these guys were putting up monster numbers and obviously were considered NHL superstars at the time. Like, did you feel like you belong? And, like, who was the guy that, like, kind of took to you when you first got there that made you feel comfortable?
So, leading up to the draft, I'd had really good interviews with Vancouver, who picked second and ultimately picked Peter Nedved. I went in there, sat in Pat Quinn's office in Vancouver at Pacific Coliseum. He's got a big cigar going, and I can hardly see him through the smoke. But he's expressing a lot of interest, and they set me up with Trevor Linden. He took me out for a nice steak dinner, and I visited a couple of the other cities. I went to Quebec City. I hadn't really talked to Detroit, but Nick Polano, who was assistant GM there at the time, his son Mike Polano played with me in Niagara Falls. So, I had conversations with them. They knew who I was. But I really thought I was going to Vancouver at the draft. and they were rebuilding, and I thought it was a really good opportunity for me. And when they were picking second, I'm literally, kind of putting my hands on the armrest, getting ready to stand up. I really thought I was going, and they said Peter Nedved, and I was a little bit, a little bit disappointed, a little bit crushed with that, only because I felt like that was a good fit. Detroit, was an original 6 team. Here I'm looking at the positives. The original 6 team. It's 4.5 hours from home. It's, but you're right. Like they weren't a rebuilding team. They were a team that had a bad year, and ended up picking, having a high pick, and Steve Yzerman and Jimmy Carson, and then that was the year Sergei Fedorov came in, and Nicholas Lidstrom and Vladimir Konstantinov, and they veteran guys like Gerard Gallant and Brad McCrimmon, and so it was a challenge for me, and I had another year of junior eligibility left, and truth be told, I told Brian Murray, who was the general manager coach at the time, I wanted to go back to Niagara Falls for my last year. We had a good team. We had a chance at the Memorial Cup, and they continually said no because they wanted me practicing with the bigger, stronger guys, the men. To work on my strength, because I may have been 6'3", 6'4", but I was about 180 pounds. And so they just wanted, they wanted to challenge me. So I didn't go back. I stayed in Detroit my first year. I played 58 of 82 or 84, whatever it was at the time. And then my second year, they actually sent me to the minors. And so it was, it's my career didn't get off to the start that I wanted or hoped. And on top of that, Brad May, who was a line mate, good friend of mine. Brad and I grew up together in Markham. We're roommates in junior. My second year when I got sent down, Brad was playing in Buffalo, and I was like, oh man, this is a challenge. Like, I'm looking around and what's going on? Like, I feel like I'm ready for the NHL, and I'm spending a lot of time in the American Hockey League. So, and Detroit, like you said, now they're bringing in more guys, Paul Eisebart and who was scoring Ray Shepard, Dino Cicerelli. I've got to try and find my way. And as a natural centerman, it was hard, spending a lot of time on the wing, spending time in my off wing. Now Slava Kozlov comes in.
Oh yeah.
Chris Draper, Darren McCarty, Marty Lapointe.
Jesus.
A great group of young players too. And we ended up winning a Calder Cup my second year, with a bunch of those guys playing. And then my third and fourth year, I started to produce, started to put up the numbers I felt I could. But in that city, for me, it was never good enough. They continued to, because of the struggles I had in my first couple of years, and 2 years in, Jaromir Jagr's got 2 Stanley Cups with Pittsburgh. And it was like, well, how come we drafted Keith Primeau when we could have had Jaromir Jagr? Well, at the time, it was, if you forget, like Sergei Fedorov defected. It wasn't a guarantee that he was going to play, and then Jaromir Jagr wasn't a guarantee that he was going to come over either. And it just so happened that it started to open up to the European players from Eastern Bloc countries, and which was great for the game because there's so many talented guys. But if I got in 2 fights in the game, it was, well, why didn't I score? And if I scored, why didn't I get in a fight? And like I said, just never seemed to be enough there. And it was a challenge as a young player. I started to dislike the game, and it started to feel more like a job. And ultimately, that's why in '96, after we lost to Colorado in the semifinals, after setting a record for most wins as a team, I asked to be moved.
Yeah, well, okay, so how much of that had to do with Larionov coming in? Because that's the way it's like presented. Okay, they're bringing in Igor Larionov. You decide to hold out at that time. Like break it down for us. What was the issue? Was it purely contract? Was it you wanting out of there? Was it your role on the team? What was the exact situation that led to you wanting out?
I think it was mostly I wanted out. You know, I knew I was leaving a great team. I knew I was leaving a Stanley Cup, not only contender, but, you know, potential winner. Just for my own state of mind. Like, I like I said, I loved that group of guys. Like, it wasn't, and I had no problem. I mean, who has a problem playing on the right wing with Igor Larionov and Slava Kozlov? I mean, it was fun. Like, there's a video. I don't know. You have to dig for it. But Dino Ciccarelli had put warm-up skate. He'd gone and put Primov on the back of my
he denied that, by the way. He denied it.
We had him on.
We had Dino on. He denied it.
He shouldn't deny it because he sat right beside me, and he easily could do it.
Did you know that was on the back of your jersey before you put it on for warm-ups? Or
no idea.
Oh my
God! That I had no idea.
So did that piss you off, or did you think it was funny?
No, I thought it was funny. I mean, no, it was great. I mean, and I guess, and you know, there was times I played with Stevie. I played with Stevie and Ray Shepard, and I was on the wing, and I would, you know, if the face-off was on the left side, I would take it, and if it was on the right side, Stevie would take it. I didn't have a problem with my teammates. And early in my career, I think I may have had some teammates that had a problem with me because I was pushing to become a National Hockey League player, and I was, you know, 18, 19 years old, and some people would call it confidence, other people would call it cocky, and that's just the way, you know, it's the way I was. I was like that my whole career, and so you know, I think it surprised them, and they probably weren't happy about it when I did it, you know. And I remember when I told Steve about it, it was the '96 World Cup, and you know, he pushed back. He pushed back as hard as he could, until Shanny's name started coming onto the table. and then it was like, are you sure you want? Are you sure? But if you do, that's okay, because we're going to get Brendan Shanny.
Hey, what's the story? Like, you and Bob Probert fought in practice, like an all-out scrap. I mean, it was like a real scrap, and like Dave Lewis and some guys like jumped in to try to like break it up. But what did he say to you that pissed you off, that led to the gloves coming off there in practice?
It wasn't Proby. Proby was defending a couple other guys, and actually, like, all the guys in the story, God rest their souls, are all since gone. Sean Burr, Steve Chason, and Bob Probert, and the other one from that team was Brad McCrimmon. I mean, and they've all been gone for, you know, 7, 8, 9 years. And that's scary in itself. That, you know, four teammates from a team, you know, less than 20 years before, all passed. You know, it's sad and really remarkable. But anyways. What had happened again? It was early in my career, and I was trying to find my way and make a mark, and we played a let's call it a neutral site game or whatever, you know, in Minnesota the night before, and I'd set up 2 goals, and on neither of them I'd gotten an assist. And so I'd said to Stevie, you know, hey, I got an assist on that, and to this day, nothing bothers me more when players,
I was going to say,
earns, you know, and today, and now it's way more mainstream. Now it's like, like if guys earn a point, they deserve to be on. Back then, it was a little bit more taboo. It was like, team first. It doesn't matter how many points you get, as long as the team wins. Yep.
Now they just go to the.
That.
Now they go to the PR guy right after the game. The PR guy calls it, and they just fix it.
It's an automatic review, and it's like way less taboo. Back then, it was way more like, you selfish, you know, mother, right?
Yeah.
And
you could say it.
So
you can say
whatever you
want
on here, Keith. It don't matter.
Okay.
Remember who you're talking to.
Selfish mother. That's the cleanest thing I've ever heard on here. I'll tell you that right now. Go ahead.
So anyway, it rubbed them the wrong way, that I was trying to get the points that I had rightfully deserved. So the next day in practice, and Sean Burr was a team prankster, and he had Al Sabatka, the Zamboni driver, who picks up all the octopus on the ice. announce over the PA system, goal scored by so-and-so, assist to so-and-so, and the assist added to number 55, Keith Primeau. And it pissed me off. And so I started shooting pucks at Sean Burr. I started we're skating around before practice, and I'm shooting pucks at Sean Burr. And then Chase jumps in, he's saying something. So I start shooting pucks at Chaser. And I don't know if I hit Probert with one, or if he just was kind of, he's not going to take my side against Bursey and Chaser. It's basically like, Keith, what are you going to do? You're going to fight them? And so Probert came over and basically hit me and said, stop. And I was already heat fueled, so we just dropped the gloves and went at it. And it was, afterwards it was fine. Probert was a good guy. I like Probert. He was always good to me. But sometimes tempers flare. I mean, I fought a few teammates in practice.
We all have.
Well, I
fought Andy the other day. I threw him out the window.
Hey, and we've seen. Listen, I saw David Backes and Tarasenko go at it in practice, and then a few years ago when the Blues won the Cup, like Robert Bortuzzo and Zach Sanford fought in practice. Everyone made a big deal out of it, and then all of a sudden the team just turned it around. And you know what's funny is the other day, Ottawa's in town. And I went to say hello to DJ Smith, actually, and Sanford walks by, and sure enough, you know who it was that met him outside in the hallway to give him a big hug? It was Robert Bortuzzo.
Funny how that was.
It's interesting.
Hey, but how was Probert though? Like in the locker room, in the city, around was he a loner? Like we always get explain Probert to us.
So he was in the city. He was larger than life. It's amazing to think, a guy with addiction problems, kind of being, this idol or this hero. But I think as much as that, it was because of his fearlessness. And that was the one thing I enjoyed about playing on that team early in my career was, it's scary going into a building like St. Louis Arena, Chicago Stadium, Maple Leaf Gardens. You play the way you're going to have to play, because if you're going to go run into people, there's a chance you're going to get in a fight. Back then, for sure.
Damn right.
And I was always third or fourth in line. It was Bob Probert, Joey Kosher, maybe Gerard Gallant, and so Randy McKay. So there was always a list of guys, kind of ahead of me on the pecking order. So I didn't have to deal with the Tony Twists or the Stu Grimsons of the world, or John Tordix, which was back then. Yeah. So it was just a different game. But Probert was really close with Sheldon Kennedy, and Sheldon was dealing with his own demons. But Probert, his wife, was his girlfriend at the time. They'd have a group of guys over for Thanksgiving. He lived on the lake, just outside of Detroit. And he was always, fun-loving guy. Like we get the jet skis out, Thanksgiving. There's already snow. You don't know if the lake is frozen, but you're out on the jet skis and minus 10 degree weather. Like he loved life and he lived it to the fullest in the time he was here. That's for sure. And he was, I always, like I said, I always liked Bob. I watched a documentary on him, and you see some of his teammates before me when he had some of his issues, just kind of throwing him under the bus, which
I saw that too.
Yeah. And he wasn't like that when I was there with him. And he was older at that point. He was younger with some of those older guys were saying, different things. And he actually had a really, really solid relationship with Brad McCrimmon, who was that kind of guy as well. I had a good relationship with Brad too. He took me under his wing, him and his wife Maureen. And so Brad was a good influence on Probert. Whether it curbed his demons or not, I don't know, but it always kind of was able to keep him in check a little bit. But Probert was great when I was there.
Okay, so the game was different back then, and you're a big guy, right? Yeah, I mean, so people probably expect you to fight and stick up for yourself, but did you enjoy it? Like, did you like fighting? Because I mean, you got in a lot of fights, man, and like some big time scraps too. Like, you could really handle yourself. Did you like that part of the game? Because people should know, like, I mean, you scored a lot of goals, some real big goals. You're an NHL All-Star too, so you could play it. It's not like you were there just to fight.
Yeah, and it kind of follows me still today. Like, nobody kind of looks at me as this rounded player. He could fight, he could score. It was guys I played against, I think have that, I think they have that recognition, or I have that recognition with the guys I played against, and even with, but from a fan perspective, it's like, oh yeah, he wasn't much of a scorer, but he could fight, and then he was more of an aggressor, he wasn't really much of a fighter. He was a bit of a scorer. As far as fighting, early in my career, it was a little bit of, out of necessity. I was trying to earn my stripes. I was trying to, garner some respect. As I said, if I was going to play the way I know how to play, the only way I know how to play was, dump a puck in, go hunt it down, and, create some havoc. And like I said, the game was different then. So, I get a little nervous and butterflies, when I had to fight. I think what scared me more as I got older, when I did it, I didn't get the butterflies or the fear. And I think that scared me more, because I was like, I'm not taking this serious enough. Yeah. And I don't know if it was because I had a different level of confidence about it, or if I just didn't feel like I was going to lose the fight, maybe, or I just wasn't afraid to fight because I'd been in so many. I don't know what it was, but it actually wasn't a good feeling not feeling fear.
Dude, I know, man, because that's when you get caught with one. When you get loosey goosey.
Exactly.
Yeah, no shit. Hey, who's a big defenseman? Like, I love asking this question, because it's always somebody different, and a lot of people throw Scotty Stevens in the mix and stuff, but there's always somebody with some of you guys that, when you're cutting across the blue line, man, cutting across the red line, and you see, who really scares you? Maybe a name that no one really talks about.
Sure, and I don't know if this name ever came up, and it wasn't. I don't know if it was fear. Something. It might have been fear, because you just didn't know how stable they were mentally.
Yeah. If you're thinking about it, it's scary. Yeah.
Right. So Scotty, I play against Scotty, whatever. I mean, Scotty step up on you, and he could hurt you, but with a hit. But I always thought he was a respectful player. Like, the guy could cross check in front of the net, turn around, give him a whack and stuff, and that was the extent of it.
Yeah.
The player that I just didn't know what to expect was Rich Pilon.
Oh yeah, Richie Pilon.
Richie fucking Pilon, yeah, man.
Yeah, and I just thought he was a loose cannon, and so Islanders weren't a very good team. It was an opportunity to rack up points back then, but you always had to be aware, because he wasn't afraid to come across with you with a skate blade sticking out, or a stick up around your throat.
Yeah.
And, another guy behind. Hit you from behind. Another guy like that was Enrico Ciccone, who was a big guy.
Yeah.
And he, I saw him come across the middle of the ice and kind of lead with a skate blade once, and he cut up Sammy Kapanen pretty good on the face, and I just thought, just total disrespect for the game.
He wants the violence out of hockey now, by the way, Enrico.
He was
lefty too. He wants the violence out of hockey. He's like a big advocate of fighting and that's usually the case. They a little bit of reflection sometimes on their part. But I've heard that too, and I've heard him speak, and he's. I've got a lot of respect for Chico, but when he played the game, I just wasn't sure what he's going to do. Big lefty.
Yeah. No, man.
He's tough kid.
Yep. So the '96 World Cup, we've had so many USA guys that have come on and told their side of the story, and I feel like with a lot of the Canadian players we've had on, we don't really get into it because they played in the Olympics, they had other, they're Hall of Fame guys, whatever, and there's so much other stuff to talk about. But can you take us into the dressing room after you lost that game? How disappointed were you guys? Were you crushed, or were you like, okay, whatever, we're still Canada? and maybe whatever the reaction from the USA, side of things was because maybe they hadn't, really beaten you guys that often, hadn't really won that much, and now they're winning a gold medal in the World Cup. Did you guys really feel that disappointment? Like, what was it like for you?
Yeah, it was disappointing for me. So by the end, I was a healthy scratch. So I wasn't even in the lineup for I don't know if I played the first game of the 3 or if I didn't even play.
Well, you fought Billy Guerin one of the games, so you played.
And that was early on. I fought Billy, but Glenn Sather was the coach. I'm trying to think if he was the GM too, but he was a coach, and he had a lot of the Edmonton guys, still Koff and Gratz and Mass and Grady and I thought we were trying to play a little bit like those Oiler teams, like fast but on the move, and not taking care of some of our defensive responsibilities at times. You're playing fast and on the move and creative. I'm the odd man out. if you want to,
I get you, Keith. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. If you want an ugly goal and you want one off my tail or off my skate or in the paint. Go hunting pucks down.
They want highlight reel goals over there.
Yeah, it was. It really was, and the game, and it was kind of in that transition period, and it kind of carried through to '98 Olympics in Nagano as well, where it was, I played on that team. We were the best team there, and ran up against a hot goalie in Hasek, but the '96 World Cup was. I think it was surprising, and I don't know why, because for that group, because the American side had a lot of good young players. I mean, Chuck and Roenick and Amante and the Hatcher brothers and Leach and Richter, and I mean it was deep. They were
loaded, man.
They were good.
Yeah, they were and Chelios and Brett Hull, man.
Tully. Come on,
Madano.
Odo.
I mean,
we've had them all on, by the way.
If you play 20 games, it's probably 10-10.
Yeah, that was some incredible hockey to watch, and just the names on both sides was unbelievable. Hey, before we move on, real quick, the '98 Olympics. Like, were you in the game? Were you on the bench during the shootout? Like when Gretzky wasn't chosen? Like, were you guys all like, "What is going on here?" Or did you feel like it was the right decision? Give me your opinion on it.
Sure. So I didn't process it at the moment, because I think I was wallowing in my own self-pity because here we are. We put all this effort into this game, and we played this 10-minute overtime, and now we're going to shoot out, and I know I've got no control over how this thing's going to end. Mm-hmm. I'm like, now my fate of a medal rests on what happens in a shootout, and I was really disappointed with that. And then after when we start to talk about who does or doesn't shoot. Yeah, I mean, how can you not be surprised if the greatest player of all time doesn't shoot for your team, whether he's going to score or not? How do you not on percentages, use them? And I don't know what was what was the thought process in that decision. It just seems like a calculated error.
Yeah, we know we had Mark Crawford on who made the decision. He didn't have a good answer for it either. He's like, I don't know. What
was it like hanging out in Nagano though? Like, what'd you guys do? Like, was it fun? Did you hang out with everybody? Like, did people recognize you?
It was so it's funny because a couple weeks ago I was home visiting family, and my brother-in-law had kept several articles from that time, the Olympics and pictures of me in the paper and articles and stuff, and I opened it up, and in one of the articles is about the condoms in the Olympic Village. and I looked at
what are those, by the way? Only sailors use condoms, I thought, going port to port.
And it's funny because I actually showed my wife. Because my wife she was pregnant at the time, so she didn't come. My dad came over with a friend. And I showed my wife, I go, this is how naive I am. Like, this is going on in the Olympic Village, and I have no clue. And I'm like, it was just so fitting. But how I spent my time was they had an extra room for the athletes. And we seem to spend a lot of time with the women's team in the room, and we have group playing cards, people joking around, and then a couple different TVs on different rooms, watching the other events. There was a lot of boring downtime in the village. For me, it sounds like a lot of other people are having a lot of fun. Yeah. It was still a very cool experience. One that I take great pride in having had the opportunity to represent Canada at the Olympics. Disappointed that I don't have a jersey and team picture hanging with a medal. But it is what
never
it is.
Show your wife anything that has to do with like condoms in a village where you're stuck. Like, come on,
especially when she's pregnant.
She's like, "Oh, cool, Keith, thank you for this. I'm home pregnant." Like, come on now.
Yeah. Hey, listen. All right, so you're in Hartford. The trade happens, whatever Shanahan goes, and then you had another holdout in Carolina, which led to the trade in Philadelphia. Ended up being great for your career, but it was great for Carolina as well. Before we move on and talk about what went down with all of that, was it difficult watching your former teams win the Stanley Cup shortly after you left? Was that hard for you, or did you not really think it was that difficult because you liked the situation you were in?
No, it was agonizingly painful.
Oh, yeah. Come on, Andy.
Okay.
I'm
trying to be nice.
Yeah. I'm like, and I think the first Detroit one, because the year I left, I played in Hartford and they won, and as much as I was happy for them, I was distraught.
Yeah, you weren't happy. Come on.
Yeah. I was happy for them. I wasn't happy for me.
Yeah. No shit.
No.
But the one that probably, and the year that Carolina won it, I think it was it was my second last game. So I got hit, and in Montreal, and I played a couple more games, and I'm trying to think, it was my last game or second last game was in Carolina, and I don't really remember the game. It was my legs weren't moving, I couldn't focus, and I didn't really put 2 and 2 together until afterwards. But I'm like, man, this Carolina team zips around the ice. Did I think they were going to win the Stanley Cup? No, but they had some really good young players there too, that could fly, and them winning the cup after the run I had with Philadelphia in 2004. That was tough, because we had a really good team in Philadelphia in 2004. It's a hard trophy to win, and so a lot of guys go through their career and don't win. A lot of great players, and sometimes it's circumstance. Guys fall into good opportunities and they win cups. But the Carolina one was probably the one that ultimately hurt the most. And again, I'd been gone for 6 years, so eventually, the Flyers are going to win a cup at some point too, and I played for the Flyers. You know what I mean?
Nope.
No, I mean not this year, but it's And to answer your question, neither one of them was easy to watch. Watch them win the cup after leaving them.
And people love, of course, old nostalgic hockey fans love Hartford Whalers. I love the uniforms and stuff like that. But you come from Detroit, where you're kind of King Dick in the town, your original six and this, that, and the other. Then you go to Hartford, though. What's the difference between the organizations and how people respected you, the fan base? I mean, that must have been a big culture shock for you, right?
So I got to tell you. When people ask me, who I was as an NHLer, I say I was a Philadelphia Flyer. But the 1 year I played in Hartford, it saved my career. The fans, because as much as I was saying, hey, I want to get traded from Detroit, I basically said, I'm willing to accept a trade to Hartford it was, coming off, Kelly Chase calling it Shawshank and guys not wanting to be there, kind of being, the redheaded stepchild to the Boston Bruins and the New York Rangers. Yeah. I honestly, I loved my 6 months there, and I thought we were going to be there at least another year before they moved the franchise. And we were getting good crowds, and we had a good team. We were sitting atop the division, or second place in our division, right up until Christmas. And then in the second half, the wheels fell off. And we missed the playoffs that year. But I actually really enjoyed my time in Hartford.
So
really
I'm always curious, because of the trade, in your situation, they wanted Shanahan. So Paul Coffey gets thrown into the deal too. Yeah. Like, is he pissed at you? Is he like, because of you now I got to go to Hartford or whatever? Or does it not work out like that? Okay.
Yeah, no. So if you ask most people, I was the throw-in.
Okay.
It was, the deal was Koff and myself, and another part, I think, going for Shanny and another small part. And Koff didn't want to leave Detroit, and he made it known to me he didn't want us moving. His wife made it clear to us that they didn't want to be leaving Detroit, and that I needed to stop with this horseshit about wanting to get traded, because we're not going. And I had a really good relationship with Paul. He's a Toronto guy. We drove home together Christmas time and stuff, and we've never really been the same since my relationship with Koff. So when he got to Hartford, he wasn't happy about it, and he made no bones about it. He continually tell the owner, Carmanos, he didn't want to be there. He acted like he didn't want to be there in practice on ice. Stu Grimson, finally, who came on, who they picked up off on waivers from Detroit a couple weeks after the trade was made, literally confronting Koff on the ice one time. It's like, if you don't want to be here, don't be here. And so ultimately Koff got traded, and only to come back to Carolina, to the organization, because it was under his terms. So he didn't like that he was moving from Detroit. It was something that he didn't have control of, but was willing to come back later because it was, because he was willing to accept it. But he wasn't happy. He wasn't happy at the time with me, and I knew he was. I wasn't thinking of Koff. I was thinking of me and my interest, and whether selfishly or not. Well,
why would you think of him though? Right? I mean, right.
Well, that's it. And at the time when his wife expressed her displeasure that I was asking to be moved, and I wasn't processing really what she was saying or what they were saying. I didn't really process till after, when it reflected afterwards. Oh, now I see what you're saying. You didn't want to get moved from Detroit, and you felt that you were being moved from Detroit because it was my fault. I was, the fact that I was a throw-in on his deal.
But if I'm a player and somebody's wife's not happy with me because her husband's involved in a trade, I'm sorry, but I don't care about you. I'm just saying, no offense to her, but I'd be like, I don't give a fuck.
So then, okay, fast forward though, you're in Carolina, then you have a holdout. What was that holdout about? How was that one different than the one in Detroit?
So, what happened there was I was coming off a couple good years in Carolina, and appreciated the opportunity that the organization had given me. And I had a good relationship with Jim Rutherford. And he was telling me all the same things he probably told Rod Brindamore when he got there, and where Roddy's at now. He's like, listen, if you're loyal to this organization, you have lots of opportunities. Opportunity to stay in the game. And again, I didn't really process that part of it. because I was just thinking about my playing career, and I didn't really know if I wanted to stay in the game when I was done anyways. But I got hurt late in the year in my last year in Carolina. I had back problems, and I wasn't really using the staff there. I'd gone to Toronto, was using some of the medical staff, some of the medical professionals that I had used in the past. We went into the playoffs against Boston. I didn't have a good playoff. My back was hurt, and the team actually thought I was using it as an excuse, and it was kind of like I'm preemptively creating this excuse. So if I don't have a good playoff, I can say I had a bad back. And then when I didn't have a good playoff, we got beat out by Boston in the first round. Well, his excuse was he had a bad back. Well, no, I had a bad fucking back.
Yeah.
And actually, and then it went to then it was back then. Remember, the guys had the sports hernias and the abdominal issues, and I was having all that stuff. And that summer was really tough for me. So there's two parts to it. One, Carolina was offering me a contract based on the Carolina market. And at that time, with Bob Goodenow in charge of the Players Association, it was, you're dealing with the league market. And I agreed. So they were offering me a 3-year deal with an average of 3.5, maybe 4. And I believed my value to be closer to, league-wide, to be closer to $5 million when I looked at comparables around the league. So we weren't off a lot. I mean, when you say $1 million a year, I guess that's a lot.
Yeah.
But we could have made up the difference somewhere, maybe split it, whatever. So I was holding out because I'm looking for league comparables. They're mad at me because I'm not accepting the Carolina offer, and I'm also at the same time trying to rehab an injury. My wife is at home in Carolina. She's in Carolina. She's with we just had our 4th child, so we got a newborn at home, and she's got 4 of them. The oldest was 10, and then 5, 3, and a newborn, or 4, 2, and a newborn. And I was spending 2 weeks at a time in Toronto rehabbing my injury, without the team even knowing that I was doing this, and coming home every second weekend, spending 48 hours. My wife would take me back to the airport, drop me off. And so I was trying to get healthy at the same time as trying to negotiate a fair market deal. And, all without Carolina knowing it. And finally around Christmas time, my injuries weren't, I was still struggling. I still wasn't better, but I was like, I can't keep doing this. I'm done. I'm going to stay in Carolina. I found a trainer there, started doing rehab there. And within a month I got traded to Philadelphia for Roddy Brindamore. And was starting to feel better, but those were the reasons for the holdout in Carolina.
I got you. And then obviously, listen, things worked out for you pretty well in Philly. I got to ask you about the 5 overtime goal. I know you've been asked about this a million times, but just the exhaustion, the intermissions of overtime, and just having the endurance and the mental capacity to be able to fight through it. And listen, we had Kasparaitis on here, by the way, and I love how you beat him the one-on-one there, and you're able to get it home past Ron Tugnut. But you look back in your career, how memorable is that, and is that one of the first memories you have when you think about some of the accomplishments you've had?
So it's when you look at your career and you look back and you reflect on moments in time and memorable moments, it's easy to go to remember the 5th overtime game in Pittsburgh, and certainly living in the Philadelphia, New Jersey area, it's one of the first things that's brought up. And people say, "Oh yeah, we stayed up to watch the 4th overtime, the 6th overtime, the 7th overtime." You remember how many overtimes it is? Kind of funny, but it's definitely a memorable moment and a proud moment for me in my career. I remember after scoring it and then kind of going into the hallway, outside the locker room afterwards, and kind of just pacing a little bit before I had to do interviews and thinking to myself, all the goal did was get us back into the series. Mm-hmm. But I said, as time goes by, the importance of that goal is going to it's just going to continue to grow, and it has in Philadelphia Flyers sports history. It's a top 10 goal in Flyers history. It's a conversation piece wherever I go. Every radio interview I do, people I cross on the street, they tell me where they were. It always makes me feel old because the people who are asking look like they're middle age, and they're saying that they watched it when they were in middle school. So so it always reminds me how long ago it was. But it was it was a very memorable moment in my career.
Yeah, you had some other ones too. Listen, even in 2004, I know Tampa Bay went on to win the Cup, and you had the game-tying goal, whatever, late in Game 6, I believe, to force a Game 7. You guys ended up winning the game. But I think it was Phil Esposito who, after the game, said, hey, that was the most dominating performance he'd ever seen in his life. Like, better than Gretzky, better than Orr, better than Gordie Howe. Like, can you tell us when he told you this and what exactly he said, and were you like, wow, thanks, Espo? Did it register what he was saying at the time? And
we had him on.
Pretty nice, compliment to receive.
Yeah, and so I had Phil was one of a few people who kind of said the same thing, and it wasn't just the one game. He felt like what I'd done that whole playoff, and that was a very memorable playoff run for me. And he felt that that I kind of put the team on my back, and he'd seen great performances from Messier and Gretzky and Yzerman and Sakic, but he had stipulated that it was one of the greatest playoff performances that he'd seen in his lifetime. And I was taken back. I mean, Phil Esposito is a guy that I didn't get the opportunity to see a lot of, his career, but certainly highlights and emulated him because of his stature, right? He was a big guy who found ways to score goals. And so coming from a guy of Phil's stature was very humbling.
Hey, were you in the game when Stevens hit Lindros? Weren't you in the game?
I was.
Yeah.
I was. Yeah. And
what was that moment like? Did you even? And now I know. Listen, I want to even ask you before we let you go about your concussions and how much you've been involved with research and the seriousness of concussions. Were you thinking at the time that he shouldn't be playing, or you didn't even think like that because he's your teammate trying to win the game?
Yeah, I felt that. I felt that Eric was trying to get back because we were having so much success as a team, and he was, I would be the same way, man. When I always say when teams aren't playing well, it's amazing how much more bumps and bruises hurt. Yes. You're like, oh, my bruised pinky toe, I can't play tonight because we suck.
We let in 5 a night.
But when the team's going well, but the torn medial collateral in my left knee, it's okay, I can play. And so that whole series, I mean, we kind of captivated the city. I mean, because Eric wasn't playing, and we were kind of band of misfits, Craig Berube and Ulf Samuelsson and Keith Jones and Rick Tocchet, they would come in late, and we're we had guys playing on one leg, and it was just more a group of guys who just got along really well, and were having success because we bonded. And again, it's only my opinion that Eric wanted to be a part of that, and that really impacted. He came back for Game 6, and then he got hurt. He got hit at Game 7, and I was sitting beside Keith Jones. I turned to him and I said, "I think I just saw that kid's career end." And I think we were all kind of numb. Nobody really answered the hit, whether we just whether it's because of the playoff game or whatever, and that was it. We were a series. We were in control of 3-1 on the bus ride home from Jersey after Game 4, talking about who we're going to play in the finals. We got eliminated in 7 games.
Yeah. They had a good team though, that Jersey.
Yeah, I mean
they were good. I mean they were better than us. They were loaded. But yeah, they were a better team than us. And Larry Robinson just kind of, they were Jacques Lemaire, Larry Robinson just said like you can do it the way you're doing it now, and you're going to be watching the finals, or you can play the way you're supposed to play, and give yourself a chance. And they played the way they were Jersey hockey at the time, and they stuck it to us.
Did you like Eric? Like, was he good in the locker room? I know you did. You play with him that long? I don't.
I did. I didn't.
So what do you think of him?
So I like Eric. I like Eric as a person. Eric was, when I first got traded here, he was gracious enough to let me come stay at his house for a couple of weeks while I was looking for somewhere to stay. So he was always good like that. In the locker room, it was really interesting because he was in and out when I got there. I can't remember if it was a concussion thing or not, but the locker room was dynamic was different when he was in and out. When he was in, it was really quiet, and I was a raw guy. I was like, and that's how I got ready. I was like, I remember Eric Desjardins was a super quiet guy. I loved him. He was so competitive, but didn't say a whole lot in the locker room. He was sitting across from me, and he's looking at me, and he was just like, he couldn't believe I just kept talking, and I'm like good, trying to motivate my teammates.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Somebody's got to do it.
And you're probably are you the captain at this time or no? I mean,
so I wasn't.
Okay.
And Eric so Lindros was at the time.
Yeah.
And then later on when my stay in Philadelphia, Eric Desjardins was the captain, and then I took he relinquished the captaincy, and they gave it to me because he wanted to focus. He just didn't feel like it was affecting his game.
Mm-hmm.
And some guys are like that.
Right,
big time.
They need to do what they need to prepare for a game. They can't be worried about 20 other guys, and it's a huge. It can be a huge burden to be a captain of an NHL franchise if you can't handle it. So anyway, when Eric was in the lineup, the guys were sitting on their tongues, and I'm like, I'm still, I'm new there, and I'm, hooting and hollering, and guys are kind of looking at me, they're surprised that I'm like, that's the way I handle my business. And then when he wasn't in the lineup, music was playing, and guys were, joking around, just the dynamic in the locker room was totally different. For that short period of time.
That's not good, though.
No.
No, it's not.
And we've had Eric on with us, but we've also had a number of other guys you mentioned who were on your teams there in Philadelphia. Everyone seems to have an opinion, and your opinion, it's a lot of people share the same opinion that kind of you're expressing right now. So it's interesting. But the concussion thing, like, what was the last concussion? Was it against Montreal? Like, did you know at the time that your career could be over, and like, was that one worse than the other ones that you had? Like, I mean,
how bad was it?
Yeah.
So documented concussion one was in Hartford in '97. Again, I'm giving you documented because it was when they first started, reporting them to the NHL.
Because they didn't document them before that, really.
I don't think they. So documented concussion one was in Hartford in '97. Documented concussion two was in 2000. 2 games after I scored the 5th overtime, Bob Bugner come across the middle, probably a little bit late on a neutral zone pass that Dan McGill threw 5 feet behind me, went down for icing.
Big Dan boy, play with Dan.
Yeah, Gilly and I turned to look up ice and all of a sudden, boom, Boo stepped up on me and they carried me off the ice on a stretcher. Spent the night in Pittsburgh hospital, flew home, played game 1 of the semifinals against New Jersey, and got in a fight with Randy McKay that night.
Ooh.
And I always say that was kind of the beginning of the demise, because after so I stayed in Pittsburgh in the hospital, flew home. I had to go to see the neurologist. I had to clear my my impact baseline testing, and we've done it so many times that I kind of knew how to do it. And so I got through it, and she sat across the desk from me, and she looked at me and she goes, "Keith, there's nothing I can do. You passed your baseline, but please just be careful." And I kind of laughed at her, and I was like, "I will. Don't worry. I got this." And I walked out of her office, and I had the worst headache I've ever had in my life.
Ugh, God.
And I proceeded to play 2 nights later. And so I always tell people, that's for me, that I should have let that one heal And if I would have let that one heal, I might have been in a different place. I don't know. I might have, may not have impacted me the way 3 and 4 did. So 3, documented concussion 3 happened in New York in 2004, 8 weeks before the playoffs. I missed 6 weeks, came back, played 2 weeks, and I wasn't 100%. And I played that 2004 playoff. It was still, some migraine issues and stuff. And then the lockout was a good timing because I was able to heal. But I was always, when I started 05, 06, I kind of always waiting for that next big hit. And how was I going to respond? So we're in Montreal. The defenseman takes a shot. We're killing a penalty actually, but we're in the offensive zone. Defenseman takes, we're in our defensive zone. They take a shot. The puck comes off. I think it was Robert Ashe. Puck comes off the goalie. I turn up ice to clear it, and Per Jogan is flying in for the rebound, and he catches me blindside on the side of the head, and I go down, and I'm kind of down. I'm waiting to see how I feel, and the trainer comes running out, and there was only about 6-7 minutes left in the game, so I don't get to play the last 6-7 minutes. And on the bus afterwards, I was kind of excited. I was like, okay, I got through that big hit, and I call my parents, and I'm like, I think I'm okay, and then I call my wife, and I go, I think I'm okay, only to 24, 48 hours later, we played an afternoon game at home against the Rangers, and I jump in the car to drive down to the game, and I get motion sick, and I can't concentrate. I can't focus. I feel like I'm going to throw up, and I call the trainer. He goes, turn around and go home. And that was the end of it.
I read that you said you felt relieved when the doctor said, hey, I'm not going to give you permission to ever play again. Like it was like a relief for you.
Yeah. So it was 05, October 05 was when I got my last concussion. I worked for the better part of a year trying to get back, working out, skating, doing, vestibular therapy, whatever they asked me to do. I think by the time I was done, it was like 22 different doctors I'd seen, different forms of treatment, but Western medicine, Eastern medicine, modern medicine, whatever it was, I tried. I was afforded those opportunities with the Flyers. And I came back from the summer, and it was early September, and we were out skating, and I went in to see Jim McCrossan in his office after the skate, and I'm sitting there, and he said, "How you feeling?" I go, "I feel I'm there. A couple more weeks until camp. I'm going to be good. I'll be ready to go." And he looks at me and goes, "Keith, we appreciate your efforts, and we know you've tried everything you can, and it's been valiant, but in good conscience, I can never give you permission to play again." Mm. And at that moment, I realized that my career was over. And I just kind of sat there for a little bit, and we talked, and then I'm driving home, and I'm going home to tell my wife that it's over, I'm done, and my first sense was relief. I was like, because I would have just kept trying. I wasn't ready, and here I'm telling him, yeah, I'm going to be ready to play in 2 weeks, and there's no way I was going to be ready to play in 2 weeks, and that's the one thing people forget is, yeah, I retired, but my symptoms didn't go away. Mm-hmm. It took me a better part of 7 years to return to health.
Oh man.
And before I felt what I would consider normal, and so it was a long journey.
And you were okay with your kids playing and everything? Like you never I know one of your sons is a goalie, but still, yeah. Just the physicality and then the game is different. It's changed probably for the better from your opinion, but you still see some people cross the line occasionally.
You do, and it's definitely the cultural mindset is certainly changed in 20 years, and so for my advocacy, when I got involved and the people I was involved with, like, we got to get the NHL on board, and I'm like, no, we don't. We have to impact people at the grassroots level. Mm. We have to make a difference with their mindset, and we have to educate them. And so we focused on, the parents, the coaches, the trainers, the players, the medical personnel. And it was disheartening early on because, we start to get to the coaches, and the coaches start to pull the players out in, important games. And there's the parent, hanging over the glass saying, my kid's okay, put him back out there. And you're like, you're not. You're putting your kid in harm's way. And now you've got parents who are like, yeah, no, my kid's got to come out. And so that's, I mean, to me, that's the biggest transformation. And so I was the same way with my kids. The one at UNO had 2 documented concussions, maybe 3. But each and every time he wasn't allowed to return to play or practice until he'd recovered. He passed his baseline, passed medical examination, was able to do schoolwork without repercussions, and then I felt comfortable that that he was healed well enough to go back. And I always explain to people that concussions to me is like a pail of water. You start to fill a pail up, and each concussion is you filling the pail of water. And if you don't allow that water to subside, it just continues to fill. Eventually it overflows. But if you let the concussion heal or water evaporate, the pail is still empty. And so I truly believe that if you give your kids the opportunity, and again, that's not for everybody, because sometimes concussion can be very severe. Even one can put somebody out of commission and not allow them to return to a sport or activity. But in my kids' case, this is what they were passionate about. They wanted to play, and I felt comfortable allowing them to play.
Yeah. And I appreciate you sharing that, man. And I know you said you want to donate your brain to science and stuff like that. So I believe you. Or is that fake news?
Jesus,
there?
Andy, don't throw that out if he's not willing to do that.
Is that true?
They told me it wouldn't hurt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm just making sure. I can't let you go, and we're going to let you. You've been unreal, man. We appreciate it. But you fought your brother in an NHL game, which is just absolutely incredible. And I'm just curious what's going through your mind when the fight is actually happening, and like what your parents were thinking. Because from what I understand, they weren't at the game, right?
They weren't. So it was the 1 year in Hartford, and it was the second half of the season. Wayne had been called up from Rochester. And he's trying to find his way, and Buffalo's in a playoff spot. We're fighting for a playoff spot. We're at home. I think we're losing 2-0 towards the end of the second period. He kind of runs our goalie, Sean Burke, and then there's a big melee at the net, and the crowd goes. The pack of players goes off into the corner, and that so happens a fight breaks out on the other side of the ice. So all the guys leave the pile and go to the other side. And the last guy, ironically enough, there with my brother and I is Bob Bugner. And he goes, okay, no fighting. And he looks at us and he goes, well, you guys aren't going to fight, you're brothers. So he leaves, and the building starts to chant. I think they're chanting for me. Maybe they're chanting for Wayne. And so I thought, in my stupid, nonsensical brain, I said, I'm like, okay, we're fighting for a playoff spot. We're down 2-0. How motivational would this be for my teammates if I fought my brother? So I look at him, I go, do you want to go? And I figured he'd say no. And he says, well, I don't care. So we drop our gloves, and it ends up being more of a noogie fest. Like I'm not trying to hit him. I'm throwing air punches. I'm throwing over his head.
I could tell, yeah.
I happened to land one. And that's when, for me, at that moment, it clicked in. I'm like, what am I doing? This is ridiculous. But I also, when I hit him, I pissed him off. So now he's starting to throw, and he throws an uppercut that if I lean into, he's going to hurt me.
Yeah.
So at that point, I got to throw him down. So I throw him down, and it's towards the end of the period. So 5 minutes, we're going right to the locker room. So I go off the ice into the locker room, and I'm like, what did I just do? Like that wasn't smart. So I go right into the trainer's room with my equipment on, pick up the phone. I call my parents, who weren't able to come. My brother said he'd fly him in, but it was too late notice. So it's my mom, my dad, and my younger sister are watching the game. My dad picks up the phone, and he's laughing, and I go, I'm sorry, it shouldn't have happened. He's like, it's part of the game. Mm-hmm. And in the background, I hear my mom and my sister go, it's not okay. It's not part of the game. He's older. He should know better. So my dad's tune changed pretty quickly. He's like, yeah, it probably shouldn't have happened. I go, yeah. I know. Wayne and I talked about it after, and we said it would never happen again. But it's another one of those good stories. I don't know if you remember the show A Current Affair, which is just a gossip show.
Oh, yeah.
25 years ago. They called us the day after, and they wanted to do wanting to do a brotherly interview on this fight that we had. And we're like,
hell yeah.
250 G's.
Yeah.
You'll do it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I should have asked. I said, is there a payment? But I said, no chance. And it went away. Then it went away until somebody decided to invent YouTube. And that's the second most popular question I get, besides the fifth overtime, is, you fought your brother.
Oh, yeah. Oh, of course. Well, that's why we had to ask.
Yeah,
I mean, listen, you're like the most interesting man in the world. You're like riding bikes in Israel, like across the country.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And he was in that exhibition game against the Rangers right after 9/11, where you guys took a knee on the ice and you guys watched President Bush address the country like on the Jumbotron.
Damn.
Then they canceled the game.
Yeah.
Right?
Crazy.
Yeah.
Whose idea was it to cancel the game?
I think it was the coaches. I think at that point maybe the players were involved too, because it started during the intermission. I think it was after the second period, and so we came out and we wanted to watch it. Or they turned it off. They're getting ready to start the period, and the fans went nuts. So
they're like booing, right, when they turned it off.
Yeah.
They wanted to see it.
Yeah. So we, guys on the ice taking knee, guys on the bench sitting there watching. And by the time it's done, you're now, 40 minutes since you've played, and, people are, inspired or processing what's just happened. And we just made a decision that made more sense not to finish the game.
Yeah, and then you guys shook hands and everything. So
shook hands,
yeah. And there was a bunch of fights in the game before that. I think there were 12 fights or something like that.
Well, there you go, man.
So anyway,
some things bringing together.
Hey,
man.
Okay, last thing for you, Caden, give us an update. Like how's he doing and everything? I know it's his rookie season, whatever. Played a couple years at Northeastern, I should say, and he's finding his way right in the NHL. They've had some injuries. He's gotten an opportunity this year.
So. So Caden's been, so it's his third year. He's finding his way as well. He's having to deal with some adversity, at the pro level, and it makes you stronger. You got to work through it. When he got the opportunity to play, he played some good games and he played some bad games, and the team wasn't playing real well before the coaching change. But you got to find a way, right? You got to find a way to be a difference maker or contribute, and so he was, like a lot of the guys in the group, was struggling with confidence in his game, but got some experience, and went down to Laval and started playing well again. And then we got into some more injury problems. So he's been up for the last 10 days. He's been up and down a few times this year. I'm just hoping down the stretch here he can find some consistent playing time, because he's a young goalie. He's 22.
Yeah, he's got to play.
He wants to play, right? He wants to play. He needs to play. They want him to play, but they've just with the Price injury, the Allen injury, and then they're bringing the Hammond injury. They have no more NHL, any goalies under NHL contracts. So he gets called up, and he's got to wait his turn.
Yeah. I remember watching him in the World Juniors and all that too, man. He's exactly. He's got a lot of ability, and all the best to you, man. And obviously your family there as you watch his progression there in Montreal. It's not the easiest place to play, by the way, to play goalie.
Not.
I mean, in Montreal,
it's not. It's a very fickle. They're very passionate, but they're very fickle. They can change. They can change on a dime.
Yeah,
right?
They'll love you one day.
Oh yeah. Spit you out the next.
There's a lot of markets like that, but Montreal is certainly one of them.
We've had some
tough, though.
We've had some of the former goalies on with us and stuff. They have some interesting stories.
He's gonna be just fine, Keith.
Yeah,
Thank you for coming on, big boy. You're the
really
man.
appreciate it. Yeah, all the best to you with everything you have going on too, and the rest of your kids.
Tell the family good luck with everything.
So.
We'll be keeping tabs on you.
Yep.
Appreciate it, guys.
I'm surprised you're not working for a team, by the way.
Real quick.
Yeah. How come no one's called you and said, "Hey, we want you to work with our organization"? Because that's going to happen now.
I know.
After this interview.
Trust me, you get a lot of attention after this.
Hire this guy.
Yeah.
So I, again, when I retired, I wasn't in a position to. I needed to get healthy, so when I started to feel healthy and thought about I haven't really committed to it. That's, I think, probably the biggest thing. But I got healthy, and I talked to Ken Hitchcock, and I said, listen, I want to, I'm thinking I want to get back in the game. And he said, put it out there, get a reporter to write an article, and you should get some interest. So I did that, and nothing developed from it. I had a couple opportunities, close, at the pro level that didn't happen. And as I said, I enjoy my life. I enjoy my freedom. I'm part owner of a great business, very successful business. And so I don't need to be involved in the game. Like I'm okay just watching from the sidelines. Okay, watching my boys.
Yeah, that's cool.
Just enjoying what I'm doing.
What's the business? We gotta give that a shout out. Is that Reeboks?
It is Reeboks. It's reusable boxes. And when I got into business 11 years ago, I would have said it was very niche. So instead of big box stores buying new, they buy used because they can buy a discounted price. Our supply comes from pharmaceutical bottling companies. Anybody who's got large volume of boxes, instead of recycling it, send it to the mill to be recycled, they sell it to us for a premium, and then we sell it to our customers. And it's becoming much more mainstream here. One, because of supply chain issues that are currently going on.
Oh yeah.
And the price of cardboard and the lack of availability, but also the cost savings that the companies can create, especially if you're buying 5, 10, 15 million boxes a year, and you can save 20, 30, 40 cents. It's a lot of money.
Oh yeah,
it adds up. So, absolutely.
So,
all right.
So it's been very good.
You can do anything nowadays, man.
You are.
I mean, I bet you didn't think when you were hanging out back in Whitby back in the day you'd be owning
selling boxes.
Selling boxes.
Yeah. Watching your kids all over the world.
Yeah,
man.
exactly. All the best to you and your family, Keith. Man, can't thank you enough. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Okay,
big boy.
Take care.
Right on.
The Cam Strick podcast is brought to you by Bellman and Bellman.com. BEHLMANN.com. Get out there to Detroit, Missouri. Check it out. On one side, you got the Buick, the GMC. Options for everybody. Then right across the street, you got the Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. Again, find something that works for you and get yourself a new set of wheels in time for the winter. All right, that was Keith Primeau. Can somebody get Cam a coffee? Like, I can't handle your energy right now because you're tired.
Well, shit, homie. Am I that bad?
No. You're like falling asleep.
No, I'm not.
You're very tired.
No. I did get up.
Did you change your clocks at home? Did you even know?
No,
I was worried that you didn't know that you were going to show up an hour late today.
No, dude, I'm always on time, man. Mm-hmm. I'm actually always that's why I'm tired all the time, because I get to places so goddamn early. It just wears you out. And I'm good. Last weekend I was a little banged up, and I kind of a little embarrassing, and people kind of called me.
You want to apologize to the fans again?
I'm sorry about that. I didn't mean to be so.
Brody did a good job with the editing.
Brody edited out a lot of things. My bad.
Of all the interviews to lose, it would have been that one, the intro. I mean, instead he loses a fucking great interview, and now we got to find someone to prepare it. They want to charge us thousands of dollars.
So it's so funny. Like Andy's Andy talks to everybody, like he's always in the mix. Like, I want to listen, and Andy's they're like, I want to listen to Peter Bondra. And then he's got to be like, well, the beginning part of it, Cam was a little wasted.
Cam had to fly that day.
I know, big important people are like, God, Cam cusses a lot on this.
My God.
And I'm like, well, he was kind of Look, I do cuss a lot, and I get that, but that was extreme.
That was extreme.
I was on a plane all day. I partied all weekend. I just was kind of fucked up. My bad, dudes. I'm better today.
No, you're much better.
All right, cool.
Even with daylight savings time.
Oh, God.
Can I get a prediction from you for the upcoming trade deadline? Do you have one?
No. No. Who has a prediction? Who want to be that guy that says, well, he's going to go here? No one knows. No one really knows. So the Blues need a big defenseman, man. It is what it is.
Players are really into it. I will say that. It's got to be, I think it's a nervous time, obviously, for a lot of guys.
For sure. Yeah, man.
But there's so many of these players now, they grow up just so focused on the trade deadline because especially the Canadians, where they do round-the-clock coverage. Here in the States, no one gives a shit outside of the hockey fans.
Yeah, they don't care. Yeah.
Okay, but in Canada, it's literally they go on the air at 8 in the morning, and they stay on all day long. And they have 500 people who work on the set.
Mm-hmm. I don't want anything to do with it.
And everybody's on their phones, texting.
You show me a game, I'll break it down for you. But you want to You want me to break something in the future for you?
So these kids, they grow up with that. It's part of their culture, you know? And so they just get really into it. Like all the young players are like, what are you hearing? You know?
You're good, homie. You're
not going anywhere.
You ain't going nowhere, homeboy. And if you do, just go enjoy yourself next place you go.
Oh, I got to get Clayton Keller a shout out, too.
Fucking right. Please
What was Marchand doing
I didn't
to
like
his
that.
ass?
Hey, you know what, Clayton? Don't be shy to motherfucker somebody.
Stick him in the balls. He's just coming off a 6th gamer. What's he going to do to you?
You know what? Take a couple games to let people know that you don't
take
give
one.
Fuck. Take a couple games, Kels, because don't make me have to dress for you and piss pump some motherfuckers.
You may have to come out of retirement next time they play Boston.
I love Clayton so much. He's such a sweetheart. I love him.
Dude, he's tearing it up right now.
Tearing it up. 18 points and fucking him and Schmaltzy got 18 points in 2 games.
No, it was like even more. Oh, in 2 games. Yeah, something like that.
2
combined,
games. Combined is pretty hardcore. Like Clayton's too.
He scores like every game.
Don't you
he's
ever
get
bullied.
30.
Clayton, don't you ever let anybody bully you.
What's wrong with that Marchand?
Like, what do you think what's wrong with him? He's like, crazy. He doesn't give a shit.
He's all in his face
he's
like
humping
that.
him and like licking him. I don't
know. Like it's like, dude, you're so close.
Clayton,
I hope he had loosey goosey in his mouth.
I swear to God, I'll come down there. If anybody tries to lick you, uppercut him,
or stick
the motherfucker in his nuts. I don't give a shit. And you know what? No one cares if you get 2 game suspension, but you need to let people know around the league. You ain't bullying my fucking bitch ass. You ain't doing it. I might look cute. And you might want to roughhouse me a little bit, but I'm going to stick you in your nuts, and I might.
And I got to tell my boy Billy Armstrong, I got to tell him this: like, can you please get somebody on the bench who can come out on the ice and take care of business when someone's doing that to your Clayton Keller? And now you're going to be playing in like that 1,000 seat arena next year, like the Creve Coeur ice rink.
I know, with a bunch of janitors. With watching.
Okay. Can you better have some shit kickers on your roster?
Better have
entertain some fans.
You better have something. I know. Don't have Clayton get bullied
Marchand, like, I don't know, man.
Actually, Clayton, you could
I try to defend Marchand at times, but then,
I like him still.
But then it's just a little.
Now when he goes to our boy, that's our boy, man.
Yeah.
He's
off limits. Off limits.
I know. Now you're pissing me off.
He's off limits. We got to let Marchand know that he's off limits.
I don't like that. Clayton, stick him in his fucking nuts. I don't give a shit. Eat that fucking 2 game suspension. You're fine.
But you know what I'm saying? Marchand's is coming off a 6 gamer. Like, what's he really going to do?
Let him fucking get a 20 gamer. Then.
Right.
Stick that motherfucker.
Because he takes another suspension between now and the playoffs, and he hurts his team.
If he did what Austin Matthews did, he's got 20 games.
Boston's going to have to make a decision.
He's got 20 games.
We may have to move on from this guy if all of a sudden this guy's hurting our team.
If he did what Austin did, he's got 20 games.
I don't know if we get 20, but yeah.
20 games? Well, he just got 6 games for barely punching the guy. Saying. He's getting 20 games.
Yeah, whatever. He's going to get something significant.
What do you mean, whatever?
Well, whether it's
cross-check guy
10
in the temple?
or 11 or 12, I don't know.
Okay, whatever.
20, yeah. Oh, he'd get a lot. But you know what I mean? Boston, listen, bullied. They dealt with all this shit with him, and then it looked like he calmed down. And now it looks like, and I don't think he should have gotten 6 games, but obviously he did because of his reputation. But now he's kind of like losing his mind a little bit. Like, what was he doing there? Like, he's like all up in his face, dude.
Yeah, well,
I said,
Clayton's an easy target.
He better have some Lucy.
You hear what I said?
Yeah.
He's an easy target.
Probably heard what Avery said about our boy.
Why wouldn't you gang up on Clayton? What's he going to do? Until he does it. That's what I'm saying. You're going to get bullied around by a Marchand. Like, he's going to bully you until you do something back to him. Stick him in his fucking
Is Marchand, like, he's not much bigger. He's way thicker.
No, he's not bigger. He's not tougher.
What's he going to beat you up?
What's he going to do? Stick that motherfucker. Who cares?
We may have to get Clayton on again this summer.
Like, I don't like that.
Just to talk about this situation.
Don't get bullied by anybody, Clayton, man. Like, you're too...
Where's Chickering going to go?
Andy, I don't goddamn know. Jesus Christ. What do I look like, Biz to you?
Ben Sherratt?
I don't know, man. Hopefully St. Louis.
Biz was trying to chime in who's the toughest guy in the league right now.
Biz was so funny. What did he do there, like? The calorie sap.
What was that?
He called it the calorie sap.
What does that mean?
Salary cap.
Oh.
He did him. Like, I do that all the time. Mm-hmm. And he goes, well, we got to look at the calorie sap. Oh. That's so petty. But Biz, I love you so much.
We love Biz. I talked to him the other day.
He ate the note. He fucked up and he has some paper and he just takes it and crumples up and eats it.
I know.
Like, he's the best of everything.
He's the best. We love Biz.
We got to praise Biz, man.
But he was asked who's the toughest guy in the league, which is really, it's like a good question for you.
He said the Reeve dog.
No, he didn't.
No, he said
he said Lucic. He started like breaking it down.
He brought a couple people into it, and I thought,
well, Reeves is certainly part of the conversation, Cam. Yes,
I thought you said the Reeves was the heaviest.
No, he said Lucic because he can still play and blah blah blah. He broke it down too much. I want to know who like the toughest guy. When someone says who's the toughest guy in the league,
the scariest guy in the league right now
to me that means who's the best fighter.
It's Milan Lucic because Milan Lucic will hit you from behind. He doesn't give a fuck. He'll go toe to toe with you. He's mean. Or Reeves the other night, like he's just like, hi, I'm Ryan. I'm gonna do.
People don't know this about Reaver, and listen, he's established himself as
he's comfortable, man.
Well,
Lucic ain't comfortable.
But Reaver if you go back to see, this is how far Reaver's come because we talked about him not fighting in junior and all that. Jan Stastny had to kind of, and Davis Payne had to say, hey, you got to start fighting. You want to have a long career in the NHL. Yeah, yep. But, people were critical, like a lot of the, former tough guys, whatever, when he first came into the league, because at the end of the day, that was still his role on the team. And he had to learn, like, he didn't always know when to fight, when to do it, when not to do it, and so that was an issue, like trying to learn that. So, I mean, you watch some games he's just quiet.
I'll tell you, Lucic's
but you wake him up, man.
That fucking Delorier's up there.
I'd have a hard time not taking him on my roster, though. I'll tell you that right now. If you gave me the option of all those guys, I'd have a hard time not
$2 million
not selecting Reaver first.
I'll take fucking Delorier. I'll take that fucking who did actually Reaver lose?
Fiev.
I'll take that little fuck too. I'll take Brendan. I'll take Brendan Lemieux.
Would you?
Fuck yeah. I'll take.
He's more in the Marchand category. Although,
go be a
not
pest.
From an ability standpoint.
Go be a dick. Go be a pest.
Well, that's the modern day tough guy. It's more about being a pest.
Go do your thing. Who beat up Reaver, the big defense, McDermott?
Oh yeah,
take that little big old motherfucker. I'll take
all
who
those
else big ass take, sons of bitches.
Is Brady Tkachuk too?
Oh Christ!
God. This guy,
that motherfucker. Goddamn right, I'd take him. Jesus
watching him play live,
he's mean.
That's one of the best games I've ever seen him play. You cannot control that guy. He's like a big bear. He just sticks his palm out and just swipes people off of him.
He's a sweetheart of a dude too.
He looks like a big, like European.
He looks the opposite of you.
Like weightless. See how much bigger he is.
You're the ones that he looks like a Viking that pillages like villages. You look like the dude that's getting pillaged. Like the guy is like, all the women and children, let's go this way. And then Brady's like fucking storming the beach like, I'm fucking all you up. Mm-hmm. And you're the guy like, help us, help. That's the difference, He's so fucking
all I'm saying is when he first came into the league, when he played against a guy like Colton Parayko, for example, he couldn't get on the inside.
Yeah,
and now he's
like,
just
strong,
he goes wherever the hell he wants.
I'm strong.
Played a great game, kid. I hope Ottawa continues to
I want Ottawa to be good. I like DJ Smith, man. I like that shtick. So I like Brady.
Norris.
I like him. They got tough ass team.
Shabbat.
They hit you. They'll fucking run you over,
I like
boy.
that Watson.
They'll run you over, boy. They're fun to watch, although they're not very good. But I'll watch that team. Hey, it's funny when teams aren't very good. Dude. If they're big and tough, I'm watching them.
And they're fast.
But if you're like not good and you're skilled and soft, go fuck yourself.
Skilled and soft, like who is that?
You know.
Who you talking about?
You know. You don't need me to. You know what I'm talking about.
Columbus is coming around too.
I don't mind that Columbus team.
No,
they're big and tough too.
They are.
They're in your face. They hit.
They're always in the thick of it.
I like Minnesota too. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Do you?
Yeah. I like that Greenway. I like the Flynn. You see Flino.
He and Cunnin.
They
fought. Oh yeah, he's done that. He's all of a sudden
good.
He's been on the edge
mean,
here.
Dude.
He is mean.
I'll take that song.
I like him better more than his brother. I will say that.
I do too.
Always have.
He's handsomer. I'll take that, dude. I don't care if you're kneeing cats. Like, put your knee back in. Mm-hmm. Don't hit the guy that does it.
That was a few weeks ago.
But I know.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I still like everything about you.
Yeah. He's played way more closer to the edge, or even crossing the edge.
I know.
Or the line way more this year
year
than he has in the past.
Can I give you a quote from Jordan Peterson? Great Canadian. Okay. Great Canadian, Jordan Peterson. Mm-hmm. Look his shit up, by the way. What?
I will. Go ahead.
Oh, he's magnificent.
Yes.
One of the smartest men going.
Ever, yeah.
It's better to become a monster and control it than never becoming a monster at all. It's better to become a monster
and control it than to never become a monster at all.
You get my drift?
Yeah.
Yeah. Become a monster.
And then control it.
And then control it. Mm-hmm. And you'll be okay. To never becoming a monster at all.
Like, give me an example of like weird.
Like me. Like I became a psycho and you somewhat controlled it. Like Felino or something. Like become the fucking something.
Become it.
And then be like, oh, God, I'm a little too much. I got to control it. Then trying to reach that. Be like, no, I'm too soft. Like little things like that. Andy.
Okay.
Write that down.
No, that's good. That's real good.
That down. Look
Where's
up
Sherrod going to go, do you think?
Andy, I don't fucking know. I don't fucking know.
What about, let me give you another one here. Giroux.
Avalanche.
Okay. Well, there you go. See?
Well, I didn't know the other one. This one's like kind of teed up a little bit. Like Landeskog's hurt. They got money saved up. Like get the fucking guy. Do the coochie thing from a couple years ago. And Coochie. Chasing that couch all around. Fuck, is he good? I love Sean Avery fucking breaking down the...
Oh, he does a good job with it. I didn't like what he said about our boy Kells, but...
Oh, he hates Clayton Keller. I mean, Clayton, then stick up for yourself then. No, seriously.
Yeah. No, I know.
That's the reason why I don't like it. Not that you have to like...
Because all the St. Louis kids do.
Like,
you ever notice that?
Yes.
Anybody who's ever come out of here.
I love Kells. I love them. Stick up for yourself. Don't ever let
anybody
bully you. Anybody bully you.
Listen, my top 5 players in the league, Pasternak's on there.
He's cool as shit. He's so cool.
He's wearing the Frederick roofing hat. Do you see that?
Can you get him on?
We can get Pasta on.
Get his ass on, dude. He's cool as fuck. I like everything about him.
Yeah,
dude.
He's just cool.
He's totally cool.
Great personality, too.
Yeah, man. I like everything about him.
All right. And a great hat. I'm saying he wore the Frederick roofing hat. And people on Twitter are like, where did he get it? Well, where do you think he got it?
Like, they don't even know what that is.
Well, it's Trent.
Yeah, but people in Boston don't know.
No. The whole team has it and everything. Yeah. They'll wear it. And now they're coming out with more apparel. And we love
big Trent Frederick, too. Yeah. Love that family. Cool cat.
Yes, we do.
Love all of them, man.
We also love Hair Club. Cam.
Fucking hang.
800-279-7878. Again, go to our landing page, hairclub.com/Cam Strick.
Yeah.
And sign up for your consultation from our landing page. That's what I recommend you do. And when you do that, you won't be sorry. It's really actually unbelievable. What we do at Hair Club, Cam, this is important. The hair regrowth, real quick. You can get back more voluminous hair.
Excuse me?
Voluminous.
More volume in your goddamn hair.
Hair Club's replacement solutions fashion new hair to areas of the scalp that have thin or no hair. That's pretty interesting when you think about it. So replacement solutions are fast. You'll see results after your first styling session. Like right off the bat, you're going to see results. So hair replacement, they do hair restoration. They offer safe and effective hair loss solutions, virtually undetectable results designed to flatter your features. A safe, judgment-free space where we match your desired level of privacy. You've talked about that. They don't judge you when you walk in there.
No, they don't. And that's the best part of it. Just walk in that goddamn place.
Free hair analysis, too, so check that out. Hairclub.com. Again, sign up for your first consultation. You're going to save hundreds of dollars when you do it from our landing page, hairclub.com/Cam Strick. CarShield and carshield.com, 800-857-2481. 800-857-2481. Use that promo code CAM. It'll save you money. That's the only reason why I tell you to do it. It'll save you money. 800-857-2481. You never know when something's going to go down, but when it does, peace of mind because you know you are protected. The BBB, the Better Business Bureau, Cam. BBB.org. What would you tell the people about the BBB? If you could tell them one thing, what would you tell them?
Don't get stuck in a shitty hotel. Fucking horrible. Man, I'll tell you another thing, though. Mm-hmm. They didn't clean my goddamn room.
Well, I know they didn't. You told us about that. You don't remember telling us that.
No, I don't. I was so fucking sorry, guys.
I can't believe you did that.
I'm sorry. I had to do what I had to do, though. Like,
oh my
I was
God.
okay, but
yeah, no, it was fine. It ended up working. I was in a cold, so I had to wake up in the middle of the night to listen to it.
They didn't clean my goddamn room. I was fucking
When consumers see the BBB accredited business seal, Cam, it tells them what?
Huh?
When you see the BBB accredited business seal,
I'm like, "What's up, baby?"
What does it tell you?
I'm gonna lay naked on that bed.
Oh my God!
I'm gonna smell the sheets. I know my room's getting cleaned. I
know
there's no bed
tells
bugs
them that there's a business.
Bullshit.
That's not what I was going for, but it tells them that this is a business they can trust.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, I'm gonna lay on the sheets.
Oh, say hi to Natasha.
Oh, what's up, girl?
And say hi to Chris.
Hi, Chris.
Dude, it can't just all be like about. You got to say hi to everybody.
Well, I did say hi.
Say hi to Natasha and Chris.
Hi, Natasha.
And Chris. Give him a call today.
Hey, Chris.
314-645-3300.
Hey, Natasha.
Locally. BBB.org, man. We love our friends over there at the BBB, don't we? No, we absolutely do.
Beep,
Loosey Goosey.
Oh,
what's your go-to flavor?
Cinema. not mango, cinnamon. And I'll eat that mug. And then my girl's like, God, your breath smells good. And I'm like, what's up? And she's like, you want a kiss? I'm like,
have you tried the wintergreen and all that too? You like
yes.
that? Yeah. Okay.
But I like the cinnamon.
Cinnamon's your go-to?
Yeah,
I like the wintergreen. I really enjoy the wintergreen.
I bet you do.
I've never gotten into chewing though, Cam. I just never really got into it.
Well, you're not a man.
Is that? Oh, really? I think that's a false accusation.
I think you're right on that. I shouldn't say that.
People out there thinking, well, I never chewed either.
I shouldn't say that. You're right.
You should say, well, I wish I could be more like you.
I wish I could be more like you, Andy, and not get involved in this shit.
Yeah.
But I was a man, and I just started chewing at the age of 12.
Dude, you shouldn't be doing that.
Cool, though.
No, it's not.
Awful,
it's not.
And I'm probably going to.
Lucy.co, lucygoosey.co. And, I highly recommend anybody out there to definitely, listen, it's an addictive, disgusting habit.
And you listen, look, like you think if I wasn't like a pro hockey player playing for my hometown and I got to chew in my mouth, I'm going to kiss Kate. Like I'm not wheeling her. Like I'm not wheeling her.
You are not wheeling her.
No, not with you. I just got done beating up a guy for like that helped. So like most people can't do that.
Yeah.
So if you had chew in your mouth and you're trying to wheel a girl, she's probably like, "Go fuck yourself."
Some players play with chew in do they?
Carlson did a little bit.
Who else? Anybody else? Did you ever?
No, because I chew the hardcore shit.
Oh, not anymore.
Not anymore.
Lucy.co. Cam, I need to let you know that warning, this product contains nicotine, and nicotine is a addictive chemical.
Yeah. We know. Thank you.
Well, you need to know that.
Yeah, I know.
You need to know.
I do know.
Do you have a personal story about Lucy that you want to share with us
Well,
today?
yeah. I'll tell you what. I opened up my Grizzly bullshit on the plane, and the whole plane was like... And I'm like, fuck.
No wonder the lady's poking you.
Kate's like, put that away. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I got that Lucy, baby. So I put the Lucy in, and everybody's like, oh, it smells good. Like, it's like the whole plane, changed.
Everything
like
changed.
Their mood changed.
Yes.
Like, I changed like 50 people's moods just by changing Lucy.
That's all that was on the plane?
Or maybe
more than
50. I don't know. I can't count.
150 probably.
Yes.
Anyway, Lucy.co. It's like Lucy.com, but there's no M. So just Lucy.co. You see all the different products. And you have any questions about Lucy, hit us up. But you got to use that promo code Cam Strick, by the way.
Yeah.
Cam Strick. Use the promo code. It's going to save you money, too. We don't just give you the promo code just to, use it. But it helps us when you use it.
Yeah, it does.
We need you to use it, but it's also going to help you. It's going to save you money. That's why we develop the promo codes, because it saves you money.
Look us both
Lucy.co. If you're going to the rink, like Cam, real quick, men's league hockey players who want to chew inside the dressing room, this is perfect for that.
Oh, God, yeah. Nothing worse than some dipshit like throwing chew everywhere and spilling it and stuff like that. Put the Lucy in. Keep everybody happy. You're still getting your nicotine satisfaction, but you're not like tearing up the locker room, especially if you're a fucking Leo and you're already wearing fucking stupid ass.
That
you
is
look
the
like a jack
worst.
off anyway. Everybody hates you, and then you throw a chew in, and you recycle your chew, so people are like, hey, can I bum one? You're like, yeah, recycle. And you spit all over the fucking floor. Go fuck yourself,
Recycle
Leo.
your chew?
Yeah. Go fuck yourself, Leo. You suck anyway, and you're chewing bullshit, and you're spilling it everywhere. Put the Lucy in.
And you can't catch a pass.
And get the
puck out of the zone.
And you high stick 3 guys. Go fuck yourself, Leo. You fuck.
We got to bring Leo back, I think.
God damn, Leo.
Well,
Leo.
I wouldn't even listen. Let me ask you this: if you had one Lucy left and Leo wanted it, would you give it to him?
I tell Leo to go fuck himself. Is what I do. Get the fuck out of here. You already high stuck me 16 times.
Yeah, so you wouldn't even give
hooking
him,
and clutching.
You wouldn't give him your final Leo.
You don't
your last
back check.
Lucy.
You don't even wear tape on your socks.
No, you
wear fucking
laces
like an asshole. I don't like you, Leo. Go fuck yourself.
Okay.
No, seriously.
One Lucy left. You're not giving it to him.
Hell no.
Okay.
It's my Lucy.
Lucy.co. Bellman, real quick. You're not at Bellman and Bellman.com. Out there in Troy, Missouri. What don't you have at Bellman?
Swinging dicks. You don't have any swinging dicks.
And what do you have? They give you sushi.
No, we don't need to go down
no,
there.
they
got good product for good pricing. Like, they're good people. Like, your wife can go there and actually buy a car and not get sexually harassed.
God. And they want your used car, too.
Oh, my God, yeah. I
need
a shit kicker. I don't care about the gas prices.
Well, you got to get out there, dude. Let's go.
Well,
I'll go out there with you.
We need to open up some pipelines. And
yeah, I'll go out there with you. Danny Boy's listening. Say hi to Kyle.
Hi, Kyle.
And Dale.
Dale, what's up?
Everybody.
I got my brother Dale and then my other brother Dale.
Buick, GMC on one side of the street, the Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Listen, this spring, and it's like either 30 degrees here or 70 degrees. I can't keep track of it.
Today,
but they've got a car for everybody, including those Jeeps. Cam wants the pink Jeep, small wheels, 2-door. I'm looking for like a bigger Jeep Wrangler or whatever. They got convertibles, something for everybody, man. 4-wheel drive vehicles, trucks, sports cars, family cars, vans, whatever you're looking for.
I'll take that.
They got everything. You take anything. Keith Primeau, man, 4 kids. He needs a big car.
I know.
You know?
Great dude.
Great dude, great
totally
career. Cool. And again, man, very successful businessman, too. I
like him a lot, dude.
Success just follows these guys around.
I just know, like, when you talk to dudes, you know, we've had so many guys on, man, in every way possible. Hall of Famers of God. But, like, Keith came on, and I'm like, yeah, he's cool.
The best.
He's cool.
He's the
you
best.
can just tell who's cool, man.
CamandStrick.com. Follow our website. Listen to us anywhere. Spotify, Google Play, YouTube. You know where to find us. And if you want to partner with us, man, hit us up.
Yeah.
Go get that Cam and Strick Mango Lemonade Hard Seltzer. If you're in town, send us a picture of that. Send us a picture of that. We'll post that for you.
Women folk love that.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And we love all the support that we're getting, man, and all our fans out there, man, all the people listening throughout Canada and throughout the world. Have a great
Love you.
day.
Love all y'all.